nervous because he couldn't tell. He just went by where the stoplight was.
Yeah.
He didn't know the colors. And as a kid, I'm going.
This conference will now be recorded.
Wake up there, Mr. Dave.
Wow,
that's a new speaker.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
Couch.
That's
That'll wake you up.
It works, huh?
I didn't touch anything. I don't know why it did it that loud. Oh,
I don't have a coat to put over the speaker.
sorry. It's because
The TV was on.
the TV was on. Because usually the sound comes from.
Yeah, it should be blowing you out.
Yeah, mine.
Me out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Please make sure that's going in the right place. There we go. Now the sound will come out over there. Okay.
We are on.
Yes.
Okay, we'll begin with the flag salute.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perfect timing.
Perfect time. Look at you.
Only
Runs on
one?
efficiency.
Where's the second one?
No wasted
I'm already
seconds.
Oh, okay.
No wasted
Oh,
seconds
yeah.
in the rally.
You want me to get you a cup of water?
Things are really hyper over here.
Yeah.
All right, we welcome everyone to the June 24th Special County Commission meeting. The item of business today is budget prep with Scott Lloyd. So
Okay.
Scott, we have a lot of good numbers to look at, right?
Okay, yeah.
A lot of numbers to look at. We'll let you
Absolutely.
tell us if they're good.
So what I did is I put the emails up front, kind of between either Tina, David, Arterbury, or Lauren, and Lauren's the one that she's helped me 3 or 4 years in the past. So she just had a couple notes there, and then we'll dive into. As always, I went through and made notes all over it, and we'll dive into. There's a couple things that I don't think I'm quite straight on, so I wanted to make sure we're right. So anyway, on the front page. This is from David Arterbury, and then Tina responds to it. I think it's me in the middle. Let's see, the next page is David Arterbury's, I guess. So he was saying that, everything was attached. So we got the amortization schedule, and then I was asking about the debt, and there's really 3 big questions in here. Where to pay the debt out of, which it looks like now we have to pay it out of the bond and interest fund. So some of the transfers we had going back and forth, whether it's capital improvement, all that, those would kind of go away. And then what we'd have to do is reduce the levy out of the general fund, I assume, a little bit to make up the difference in the bond and interest fund, because you got a total levy of 75, and so then instead of transferring the money, you would actually, or you could take some of the capital improvement money. Because of the way the statute's set up, the capital improvement money can be transferred back to general, so we could do that too to make up that difference of the levy that we're taking from the general and putting it on bond and interest. You see what I'm saying? So the capital improvement's paying that payment. But that's one question we need to kind of figure out. Okay.
Or reduce the amount that you're transferring from general to capital
Right.
improvement, split that, and put
Yeah.
part of it.
I think that's what Lauren did here.
Part of
We'll
it.
look at that, but that's kind of what Lauren did here. And then the dam, we estimated just 200,000. She found, Tina found, and you'll see it there in the middle there. It says 83,900. The dam, let's just say it was 200,000. And with that, we've got it. Lauren and I, she was working. I don't know if she called you on that or not, but we were going off the email. So we were just trying to figure out, you said risk management, but I think Lauren may have misunderstood that to say, pay it out of park, transfer from risk management, and that's, I think what you're wanting to do is just pay it out of risk management. Is that?
Well, I found the minutes. I looked
Okay.
back and researched
Yeah.
how much that estimate was
Yeah.
and which option you chose.
Mhm.
And when you approved that, you also approved funding out of risk management.
Yeah.
So we would pay directly.
Yeah, so I've got to change that. And then employee benefits, I have not tackled that yet. We've got everything else put in, like what we said last time for, salaries and the way you had it, the numbers.
One thing on salaries,
Mhm.
I had told the board that the electeds wasn't calculated as of January with those stuff, but Cherry did calculate it. I just didn't realize it because the way the sheet read, it was already in there. It wasn't apparent. So.
Yeah.
Okay, would this be an appropriate time to talk about salaries?
Yeah,
I
you-
think so.
Whenever, yeah,
I guess-
I'm just giving you the big picture things, and then we were gonna dig into the weeds a little bit.
And we did, so the employee benefits numbers we sent
Okay,
with the payrolls, the whole big payroll thing.
Okay.
Should be somewhat
Oh, they're
close,
pretty
but I
close?
haven't
Okay.
looked at the current year stuff at all, like the middle column or anything.
yeah, you
So,
might, yeah, cause I kinda.
we like to look at that a
Yeah.
lot closer, don't we, Scott?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 'cause that's a big number.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, what do you got?
Well, I guess I'm gonna play my new guy card for the last time, I guess, after the I can't play it.
Last time.
So you can hold me to it.
What does it look like? Show us out here.
It's a question mark.
Is it an official card? Did they give you one?
We should
I don't
do
know what's,
that.
I don't know what's going on, the new guy card.
He's special.
You get a
Yeah,
whole stack-
special,
you
I
get a
like
whole
that.
stack of them.
Thank you, Dave, for
You can
calling
toss
this
them out so you run
special.
out.
You only get 10, and then you can't play the card anymore. But setting salaries in the budget for employees for the next year, are we already past that, or have we made
No,
decisions?
we haven't, no,
or-
you haven't made any decisions. I mean, the estimates we provided, I don't know if they probably, not all of them probably been plugged. I don't know, because
I went back,
some departments do. and-
Everything that I had written down from what you had given, when they went through and did that off your sheets, we had put in, I believe, but we need to double check that.
Okay, so, the estimates we provided would been with the step raise in July
Mhm.
for regular employees,
And
step
that's
raise
a-
in January for electeds.
Approximately how much?
So like,
1.3?
or something, 1.3, 1.5,
Ballpark.
between the steps.
Okay.
So we have not, obviously you guys still have to approve whether that occurs, in that budget year.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Well, my new guy question was, do you put the employee raises into your budget, or do you do that after you do your budget? So if we do it before, wouldn't we do it before we finalize things today?
Yeah, so,
So if you wanted to do something more than
yeah,
The 1.5?
the step, like if you needed to do a cost of living or
Right.
something,
Right.
you would need to talk about that now, so that it can be put in.
the way we've done it in the past, but it doesn't mean
Sure.
we work on all the numbers except for personnel and
Okay.
employee benefits.
Okay.
See how that's gonna work with cash carryovers and all that, to make sure our cash carryovers are in good shape.
Okay.
And then, I've already stuck in the step raises, but like, we would go back and, the way Tina's very organized on the
Oh, okay.
employee benefit, okay? Because what she can do is she can go ahead and say, okay, if you want to do another 1%, or I'm just using that example.
Right.
She would go in and put that in, and what it does is it builds each of the department's budgets of what 1% looks like.
Okay.
And then it actually impacts the employee benefit numbers also.
Okay. Okay.
That is not, I will be very upfront with you. The other counties are not that way, okay? I have to go through and try to figure all that out. I think Tina should, and maybe Marion County can make a little money off it. They should use this personnel service package she's got, since she is the president of the County Clerks
There you go.
Association.
Yeah.
And
I
let
hear
every
consulting
county,
business taking off.
let every county clerk do it this way, because that is, oh man, that is nice.
So your recommendation would be go ahead and get through the.
Yeah, just go through and
process,
answer
then
her
come back and
question. Yeah,
revisit this.
mhm.
Okay.
I've done
That answers
everything,
my question.
I've done everything
Exhausted my
that
card.
she had put in because of the step raises, I believe, except for employee benefits, I haven't touched it.
Okay.
But once we get through the questions today,
Okay.
then you kind of give us guidance, and then we'll talk about when's the next meeting and how much we have to get done before the next meeting, okay?
Very
And
good.
one thing that we can do, that Scott was talking about, is if you feel like the county's in a good place and you wanna consider a cost of living,
Mhm.
rather than just the step, you wanna consider maybe adding a little bit more.
Right.
We have the ability to estimate how much more that would add to the budget,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we can
That's
get that
awesome.
to you later, yeah.
Okay, does that answer your question?
That answers it. My
Anybody else
cards
have
are
questions
exhausted.
before we start?
Well, I'd rather do it now and know where we're at than somebody want to do it in the middle of the year and not know where we're gonna be by the end of the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just.
Yeah.
just
And the other
buzz.
thing, I don't know, what year, I was gonna ask you, what year did you go to like where you got the step rate, I mean, the whole plan, the pay plan, was that 2 years ago?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, you're, the four I work with, you're the only.
Well, it was a
county.
year, it was last year.
Implemented
This
last
is the
year.
first year.
Implemented,
Yeah,
so this is the
oh,
second year, second,
Second year, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because, what, do you remember what that cost? I was just trying to think of that the other day, what it costs to have someone come in and do all that. Was it like 50,000,
At least.
100,000?
I was thinking, so.
I would have to look that up.
Well, just if you can find it, the reason,
That's
yeah.
Tina.
Yeah, the reason I was asking that, because all other three counties, they don't have that. And what's really hard right now is with inflation, if you don't have a plan in place, you could be all over the board. And then some are doing premium pay through the, what you've done also. And we're just trying to balance all that. And 2023's budget is really it's kind of like, I call it the key budget here in the middle of ARPA and that because of that, how are you gonna balance that between premium pay, what you give for cost of living, and then if you do have a step, how do you balance all that? So that's something, there's gonna have to be some work, and you've done some great work on that, but a lot of counties haven't, and they're right now, they're in the middle of, how do you justify, what you do without having a plan in place?
And we have a little bit more work that needs to be done on the plan, but.
Yeah.
I can tell you though that this COLA thing is I hate to say it, it's an animal that's sitting out there. Because I serve on a board out of Wichita that just approved a 7%
Yeah.
cost of living,
Yeah.
which I voted against
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah. No, back to we were talking bank earlier, but just be real here. See, most of our employees in Sedan are probably 30 miles away. And, they don't make a lot of, the tellers and all that. So we actually not only gave them a pretty good raise, but we had to give them, we're under order, we got them gas money, we actually said, okay, we kind of calculated what it would be a month, just because if we don't have those employees, we can't run the bank. So it is a very challenging environment right now of how to deal with all that.
Well, everybody's sitting out there and Social Security keeps, advertising they're gonna be over
8.3 or something I saw, and yeah.
So
Okay.
that perception's out there.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And then you get, yesterday I got one from one of the little cities I gotta talk to next week, listserv. So when the listserv starts going with the city clerks and the county clerks, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that's how they communicate across Kansas. Yeah, so we monitor that, Carlotta monitors that, especially in the rescue area, because there's some crazy stuff going on out there, let me tell you,
What are you talking about?
Huh?
What are you talking about? Listserv?
Oh, it's
Okay,
an online chat.
So
okay.
so what it is if you email, it goes to all the ones signed up for it in the county
It's kind of like a
clerk's office.
Facebook message.
Yeah, social media,
Okay.
electronic.
And it's good though.
Yeah.
You learn things that what to do and what not to do. Carlotta just sends me that stuff. I go, no way. Yeah. Anyway, we'll keep going here. Okay, so I'm gonna one note I made on this first page. We're gonna put everything in the risk management for the dam, and I don't know, is 200,000 kind of what you want to put as an estimate, even though it's up quite a bit over probably the 83.9 that was a minute ago.
Be better to be
Yeah.
prepared.
Well, there's contingencies too. I
Yeah.
think they give us a straight number, but there's always a 30%
Oh, yeah.
contingency.
Yeah. Okay.
What the other thing you were paying out of risk management, do you remember? I still want my risk management fund to be good.
The other, oh, the lower. I'm gonna put that up there too.
Yeah.
Remember.
Yeah, I'm glad we set that up there whenever we did. It does, I think one of the new ones I'm working with, they see the value, they don't have one. And so we're gonna start building it, because there's just so much going on right now in just what would be classified as a risk, whether it's HR, whether it's.
Can we do roads through it?
Huh?
Do all the roads.
Yeah.
Roads, yeah. Run the roads through it, yeah, well, yeah, guess so. Okay, so if we go to page 3, these were questions that Lauren just had for me, and I thought, well, it'd be valuable for you to see them too, because my notes probably weren't clear. I always judge that when I do this, I try to write stuff as clear as possible. And Lauren is very, very good at what she does. And so if she has the question, then she didn't understand me, okay? And so then I probably didn't understand you, or I didn't note it right. So the first one has to do, is nothing more than getting the gallons. I hadn't got that yet. And I found out, I don't know if we can get that or not. I found that out from the other counties. I was trying everything to get that because you bid it, and then you have sometimes a different supplier, and there's no record keeping of, like, just straight, here's the gallons. It would be almost a nightmare to go back and try to, to rebuild it. So something I saw, I don't know if you all get, this is really handy. Do you get ransoms? It's called Ransom Financials email. Do you get it? If you don't get it, it's really a good email. What they do is they clip all the newspapers electronically with a headline and then just a little bitty blurb across the state of Kansas. And then if you want more detail, you click on that headline. The Ransom Financial, literally, if you sign up for it, you get it. I look at it every day, because the other day I saw one of the counties, they're increasing their fuel by 170%. Because, so that would be literally, over doubling it. So I don't know if I can get the gallons. That's what I'm trying to say there, after I've done a little research, because of the way the bid price, the way it bids, the way they record it, and then they pay, you'd have to go back to every invoice and find out how many gallons were purchased. Now, going forward, if this would be the same environment, it'd be kind of nice to see that.
Well, next year we should be able to get, we got
an electronic
the new
system.
card troll.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that
So-
would help.
Well, that tracks how much people are taking out of the pumps. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
track.
Oh, yes, that's true, yeah.
Wouldn't it be fairly simple just to have an Excel spreadsheet and every time we bid,
Yeah.
you put it down?
But,
Yeah.
Well,
but you
so
don't
when
But you don't actually
use that.
take all that bid.
Yes.
Right.
Sometimes it's 2,000 gallons, but it only takes 1,500 to fill the tanks. So what's going in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then
the
the other
card
part-
troll would be the way to go, what's coming out through the pumps.
Yeah,
Because they-
what you use.
Each vehicle should be tracked, isn't it?
The other thing is some
You
buy
can't make
from
all
the
the
pump,
same.
right?
Yeah, so if they buy from the
So some
pump,
of it
then
isn't going
that'll throw it
through.
off.
Sheriff buys.
So you got, like Scott's saying, it's all.
But it's interesting because the first year we got really stung by the inflation years ago. You think about dollars first, and then it's not there, but really, and then it also, like last year, we was down on employees, and maybe the graders wasn't running as much. But I just this last week got questioned about fuel 2 times, and first thing they asked me is how much is a grader. The first question was, how much does a grader use in a day running? And then the second question was, how much fuel do you use in gallons? And now, this is the 3rd time now that gallons has come up. So you speak gallons, and if you can realize that your machinery runs somewhat the same all the time, okay. You could sort of expect to go to $5 a gallon or $6 a gallon and figure you a budget. But it's sort of crazy if we don't know the gallons somewhere that we buy. I mean, it should be down in somewhere down yonder in that corner down there, you should know.
Over the bridge, yeah.
I mean,
It's just a question.
that's fuel
I
for
think
everyone.
we can kind of say the price last year was this amount, and the price this year is this amount, and we don't know what it's gonna be for 2023, but if we build in enough to, cover that, without knowing the
But
gallons.
that's a good point though, and about tracking the number of gallons. I think that could probably start.
Well, what Dave
moving.
just said, he said, don't we know what each car does? Well, if you look on our P-card receipts, there's a lot of officers buying gas, in a lot of different places that don't go through our pumps, don't go through our system here, it comes through P-card.
They have to write it down in their logbook.
If
How
they
many-
keep them, yeah.
How many miles
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
how many miles and how many gallons
Yeah.
they fill up each time.
We had that same kind of question come, somebody asked us once, what do we spend on utilities a month? Or what do we spend on phones a month?
Mhm.
And we didn't know.
Yeah.
So we started a spreadsheet, so we've been trying to track that every month now. I don't know if we're keeping up on it. I didn't check, but that was something we just started doing because I was like, well, we should know that.
I mean, you could tell somebody's riding around all day or actually stopping doing work. There's some trucks that just,
Right.
doing a lot of inspection.
There's that line again.
Yeah.
Both feet.
Yeah, so, that's just something to think about. I mean, I think we can estimate, get close. But back to that ransom financial, that'd be something that really keeps you in the loop on what's going on, across the state now. Some of it's city, some of it's county, but it's just anything that impacts the government in Kansas, out of that newspaper. And some of it's blowing smoke, but, I mean, I've learned a lot. I started doing that about 2 or 3 years ago, and it really works, helps. Okay, so we're gonna, and I was gonna tell you, with your system of, there's some counties that they do not have, like where you have this, like you allow other departments, I think, don't you, buy through yours, road
Yeah,
bridge?
the road and bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you and, I think Osage might be that way. These two new ones, they just let people go do the purchase company. They have no idea, and they don't have that reimbursement back to the, I've learned a lot, just how some of the systems you've got in place, or we've worked on over the years, and some of these other counties, they're just, it's not there, so, and I told them the other day, I was laughing, I said, yeah, Marion County actually has a pretty good control of this, because, they only have one guy that works in the entire road and bridge department, and it's hard to run 10 pieces of equipment. I know, I wasn't joking about, I just saying, I hadn't really thought about that, because, with employees, you can have all the equipment you want.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the employees, I mean, whether it's the sheriff department or the, whatever. Okay.
We got 2 dump trucks sitting doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, the next one was the special bridge fund. I had written a note out to the side, but I couldn't find anything, and Lauren was asking me about it. We'd set up a $2 million memo in the road and bridge department, but I had a note by the special bridge fund if there was gonna be anything of that funded for that building out of special bridge. I think I just noted that.
I
And
think
not
the
that,
reason was because Bryce put a building on more than one of his sheets.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in 2
That
places.
Bryce asked,
That's
he
right.
wrote it on this sheet, and he wrote it on this sheet, and he wrote
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I don't think the
The
board
2
intended
million,
to
what we
do
got
that's
over the
coming out
other
of
line
special
will be
bridge.
Well,
sufficient.
I guess which account would it be then?
road and bridge.
Road and
It's
bridge,
regular
yeah,
road
that's where I've
bridge.
got regular.
Okay,
regular
it is
road
in
and
regular
bridge.
road.
Yeah,
Okay,
I got
then
a
yes.
regular road and bridge.
So
but
you
I-
didn't have you weren't planning 2 buildings for road and bridge?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
okay.
one probably could just go, that line on special bridge could just.
Gotcha.
It needs to be in one spot.
Right.
Was it 2 million, or did we just come up with 200,000?
Well, no, 200,000
minimum.
is the regular, we'll see that when we get in here,
Yeah.
it's a regular
Sure.
multi-purpose
Put it in
building.
there.
Okay.
But what I was trying to get you to do last time was in the memo over here, let's get a
The
number.
goal.
Yeah, let's get a
The
goal
goal,
over here,
goal
yeah.
number.
So
yeah.
you put in the memo the 2 million, and
Yeah.
you put in the budget, I think 200,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Starting step.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Okay,
what's that goalpost do?
The next one, I haven't had time to get back to the health department. We have it split out, but I'm not sure how accurate it is. Like we always go back to the health department because they have all these grants and fees. We want to make sure that the receipts are there, so I just need to get back with her. The bait shop, Lauren had asked me here, we had salaries in there of $6,128. I think she took them out. I don't think that's what your intention was. The intention was to see if we could transfer 15,000 back to the park fund for the seed money that was put into the
Yeah.
bait shop.
Right.
And
Yes.
maybe we can't, we'll look at that when we get to that fund. We might not be able to do it all in 1 year. Maybe we'll do it in 2 years or something like
Well,
that.
Or maybe do it at the end
Do
of
it
2
in
years.
2024,
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah, so,
It was more of a note because
Yeah.
15 is gonna disappear
yeah.
after this year. So 2024, we're gonna forget what the seed money was.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Good point.
And we didn't hire any staff for this last summer,
Yeah,
but we want to be able to allow for it in the bait shop. If
Yeah.
they do need to hire staff, it needs to be self-sufficient out of that
absolutely,
fund.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already talked about the park fund, so the risk management will actually pay for the dam, and I think we'll straighten all that out. Okay. So then on the next page, page 4, is the sheet that you're familiar with. I left it, the 75.017 as it was last year. It's when we put this all together, it's $1 off, so I just made a note, that's not a big deal. 632,172 is the amount that is generated by the assessed value, an increase of 8.3 million. And I don't have anything else there unless you do. I'm just gonna keep moving here. If we go, and I gotta get rid of, let's see that, got rid of the special districts because we're not doing consolidated. I think the next question was on 8, and we've already answered that. We were showing risk management in general, helping the park out to pay for the dam, but we're gonna take it all out of risk management, so that answers that question. The next one was the debt spread of the $5 million, David Arterbury, and it says 3%, but was that 3% average, or I thought it was 2.3
or something
yeah.
like that.
Cause I had that here.
We were estimating 3%.
We were just estimating 3%, yeah. So Lauren just put that in there. I'm not sure if she got that off of David's sheet or not.
I'll double check that.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the debt, principal and interest payments in 23 based on what David sent us. Next page, page 10, I think I was a little confused here, maybe Lauren was too, when we were putting this together. I couldn't remember if we got 2 graders or we got 4. Oh, we did get 4 graders.
A 16, a 17, and a 21, and a 21.
Okay, so 2 new ones in a sense,
And 2
and
used
2 used ones. Oh,
Yes.
see, look, she's on it. 4 graders. Okay, so I can mark out only 2 graders. Okay. I'm gonna change the format. That's not for you. Let's change the format there. It's hard to see what years they were purchased. I changed on page 11. I changed the sales tax to the $850 in both years. That's what we talked about. Kind of it was $954, but we decided that in both years it'd be the $850. I think we have this wrong down here when I was looking at this on the Diamond Vista in lieu of tax. You told me that the $633 was because they paid a bunch of like road damage and everything up front, and the $630. Did we ever come up with a number on that? Or what?
It's 100,000.
It was 100. It was 100,000 each year. Okay, I had that. I wasn't sure if I just had that stuck in from last year or if that was really the number.
Well, that's not nice.
For this
Huh?
year.
That's not gonna be nice at the final number.
I know. No, it's not. No.
Oh,
Isn't
boy.
that supposed to increase if they paid them off their,
Yeah, once they
when's it?
recouped, that should be the end of this year, right?
That's what I was thinking. I don't know whether
And
23.
it should go back.
Would that be
23? I don't remember what year.
I
And
guess I didn't look at
what's go
those.
back? I don't know. I mean, is there a schedule somewhere?
Well, we recouped it in just 1 year.
235 or 265.
It was gonna take 2.5 years or something to recoup it, I thought.
Do we have a schedule somewhere that shows those estimated payments?
Just payment in lieu
Not
was set at
really, no.
260.
I'll have to
260,000.
dig into the file again. And
That's right, it was 269 or something.
Right around 260 is where the payment was supposed to be, but they was taking 100 and some thousand out each year and not paying us and just giving us 100.
Given the minimum.
Yeah.
Due to contract, it said basically they could go down to 100,000 if we caused excess.
And that fee that they was taking was supposed to, this is what that contractor charges, at 600 and some thousand, 675,000. What page were we at?
On page 11, down at the bottom.
The most it's gonna
Yeah,
go up to is
630.
probably 267 for next year.
267?
That would be the most, I
Yeah.
think, that it would go to.
In
Yes.
23.
And I'd have to look to see when exactly, because I don't wanna say that without looking.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it was 2.5
I think
years.
it's 2 or 3 year payment. We
I think yes.
had 2 full payments and a partial on
Maybe
the
that's
3rd year.
somewhere, could be in there.
Which doesn't help any.
I'll put Tina's researching.
Yay.
Yeah, you probably got
What
that.
color did you give her?
I would rather just put it in
What color
as
did you give her, so
100,000
she
for
knows?
24.
Yeah, I'm writing in red. This is
Just
Christmas
plug it in.
Day.
Okay, okay.
Then,
Because that one is a big red.
And when it comes to
Over
the
630.
change it
Yeah.
the following year.
That's reducing income.
Because I don't necessarily want
Which,
to plan
yes,
on it,
impacts-
because, I mean,
impacts,
something could go
cash
wrong
carryover.
too,
There's no
if
way
they
we
don't.
get 630.
I think we ought to just plug it in as 100 until
Till
it
we
comes
know.
through,
Just
otherwise.
to be safe.
I mean, and that would be my preference, because I hate to go in here and assume that we know that it's gonna go up and then put that number in and it not be correct.
Well, we all know that. You know, you stay conservative on the receipt side, and cash is easier to spend than budget.
I mean, I can still
you-
research
yeah.
it and see,
Yeah.
but I don't necessarily feel real comfortable pumping that
That's right,
for this
absolutely.
budget.
Okay, we'll put 100.
Not that we don't trust them,
Okay, next page, page 12. This is where this started. we'll get over on the next page and I'll show you a little more of this, but I'm just gonna kind of tell you some things in the general fund, and then we'll have a general discussion. We'll have discussion about the general fund when we get done here. If I didn't circle it, but if you look right in the middle of the page there, Randy was asking about this, the 200,000 for the multi-purpose building is in the 23 column. We have 500,000 over here in the memo. I didn't circle that, but that's where the multi-purpose building is shown. And then the lake dock, I just marked that out, that's all zeroed out, isn't it?
No, we had expenses from that this year.
In 22?
Mhm.
Oh,
I think so. I need to double check it. And we've
Okay.
also got multi-purpose building expenses this year because we've been buying property.
oh, in the middle column? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
I know. And,
Okay, well, I'll put red on there, we gotta keep that in there, please.
What happened to county administrator?
Yeah, no, you weren't here when I had that discussion. I had zero in the middle column, and when Laura and I was working on it, she thought zero meant it was gone. So it's here. I just gotta put it back
Okay.
in the 23.
Glad I pulled out my sheet from last week.
No, I've got it noted.
I lost my breath.
Yeah, I've got it noted here, okay?
'Cause it's gone.
Yeah. Okay, so the lake dock, you'll just look that up. Is there an estimate in 23, or is this just a repair?
23, it'll be, there won't be any.
Oh,
No
won't be.
expenses.
It's gone.
It's gone.
I know.
It's all paid for in 22. Oh, okay.
Installed and paid for.
Oh, wow.
People use them,
Wow.
and everybody's
Have
happy.
you got to see it yet?
Is that what budget? Can't do it.
It's
It's
nice.
nice.
It's nice little building. Wish we could have found this person to start with. It's good.
Huh.
Getting screwed.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of mad.
That's a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
That reminds me, when do we get the bids on the metal?
You know, the park probably could afford to pay for 89,000 worth of dam repairs if you decided you didn't want to pay under risk management.
Mhm.
Especially since we paid the whole dock out of the general fund.
It's a big.
That was just a,
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tina.
just letting you know.
That's all I did. Now go to page 12 in the green one.
Let's see.
It's not- they're not in service, but it's- Right under planning and zoning.
Yeah. Just the whole line's going.
Yep, yep. See, got to pay attention.
Good catch.
You guys
If you look on page 15, it shows up.
Okay.
It's just not on that sheet where you're at.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I show it up because it did drop off.
We need that spend on rock.
Okay, do you want me to keep going, or you?
Oh, okay.
Or you want?
I don't have an answer.
I think
We'll find it
that,
somewhere. We'll take
it
it
looks
out.
like the last payment
Well,
for the
sure.
heated dock was
Yeah, I'll look
actually
at
in 2021, maybe,
Oh, really?
so.
Well, it didn't show up, that's why I was wondering. I wonder if did that get stuck?
I don't know, it was there, I thought it was there before.
It's in the spring. Sure.
What's it up there? Everything disappeared.
We put it, we
That's
finished it
weird.
this year in the spring, didn't
The belt
we?
Disappeared.
Heated down.
Hold on a minute. Let me look here.
She said last year.
I think it was. It was already done.
But we may have encumbered it and charged it back to the 21 budget. Let me just take a look at the last time we actually.
Yeah, it was
Maybe
in the first time I came over here, it was all zeros, and that, we got that from April's draft, which is the auditor.
Oh, because it was on the wrong, she had it in there twice. There was 2 lines with heated dock. I thought.
April did?
When I first was proofing,
Okay.
I'll have to go back
On
and
your
look and see.
on the
It's in there, it's in
on the
on,
financial statement.
it's on the financials. I
Okay,
just don't
okay.
remember exactly.
Okay. Okay, so the question I have on 12, before we jump in the rest of it, is we have the transfer to bond and interest and the transfer to park. And the transfer to park is, we were paying the dam, but now we're gonna pay it out of risk management, so that can go away. The transfer to bond and interest, what happened here is, we have a lot of different ways we could go here. So like, we have sales tax transfer, mill levy transfer from road and bridge to capital improvement. That one way we could do it is we could reduce the amount of the transfer to capital improvement by the bond payment, okay? And that would leave the money in the general fund, so you wouldn't be transferring it, okay? And then that would make up, if we want to actually, which it sounds like David says we need to do it this way, David Arterberry, is we would actually put the levy, so just look at page, so you kind of see what I'm talking about. Look at page 16 as I'm talking about this. So on 16, this is the bond and interest, our debt service fund. The payments from the schedule I showed you are the middle circle there, 175, 417, and 470. And right now, we had a transfer in from the general fund, because see, the problem with bonds on the first year is you've got to build enough cash carryover up to be able to pay it, because your taxes in that first year of levy do not come in until like almost August. I mean, the whole money doesn't come in August. So the levy in the first year is almost gonna be like a levy and a half, unless you transfer from another fund. So we had shown it transfer from general, but I'm not sure that's the way you wanna do it either. So back to the levy, back to the transfer from general to capital improvement. That's one way you could reduce the transfer here, and then that levy amount would be taken off of the general fund and put totally over here, okay? And what you're doing then is you're showing that the total levy on bond and interest is due to the roads. And it's not, right now, if you go pay part of it out of general and part of it out of capital improvement and part of it over here on debt service, in a sense, that's not being as transparent, but it's okay. It's nothing wrong with it. I just need your guidance. David says we need to pay it out of debt service. So that's why I was having this conversation, because we didn't do it that way when we were trying to help you out a little bit.
We had talked about paying it, the board had talked about paying it out of capital improvement.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you still wanted to do that, you would just pay less into capital improvement.
Yeah.
Shift the rest to
Yeah, but.
debt service.
But that's the only thing wrong with that is then what Dave mentioned, all of us know that we've got to keep a building sum for roads that's not getting anything.
Right.
To, we got to build that. We can't take all the transfers.
No.
And or we're not building nothing. We're not having no general.
Well, and then
Capital
it's more transparent if instead of levying in the general fund and transferring, like what Scott said, if you just levy it for a bonded interest.
You might look at page 14 too. This will kind of help you maybe see the picture even better. So the way this is built, the circle at the bottom of 14. So we take the $850,000 of sales tax that we decided on to put in receipts in the general fund, and then we make these allocations. And just to refresh your memory here, the allocations were set up clear back in like 2001 or 2, okay? So if you look at the second line there, you have a transfer to capital improvement, 7 mills, okay? So back then, we were taking 7 mills under Mr. Byrne, what was the number? The guy from Byrne.
Jeff Brinker.
Jake Brinker.
Yeah. So 7 mills there, and then we took sales tax transfer of 2 mills and put it in the next line. So at that point, and it's what it's been ever since I've been working on it, is 9 mills was taken and transferred from here, if you made the transfer, but it hit from here to the capital improvement, okay? So those are the 2 lines there. The top line then, sales tax 80% portion for road repair, what that is the 2 mills of the 80% backed off of the 850, and that number goes in the first line, okay? So that is, I think you've been using that for like chip and seal or buying stuff like that, okay? So those are the 3 lines that we've had in the budget, literally, I think since 2001 or 2002. Have they always been transferred fully? No. There's sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't. Then what we did here is in the 23 column, instead of levying it all over here in debt service, we took out of that second line, you can see it went from 1.1 million to 535,749, and built the second part of it down below 645,417 as the transfer to debt service and reduce the capital improvement transfer. You see that?
Yeah.
So There's a lot of different ways to do this, but it's
So-
kind of up to you.
If we did that, are you looking, is it 9-year payout on the deal?
Yeah.
On the 5, yeah? So 9 years is what you would be looking at this numbers here, if you stayed that way. I mean, providing everything stays the same.
Yeah, it might be a little bit less. See, the first year, you just gotta get enough cash in there to pay for the bonds.
Okay.
But if we do it this way, we would have cash carryover in the general fund that would put cash in there immediately. And then the rest of this levy would be the one that's stretched out, you know, from January up to August when the distributions come, in that 23 years.
He said he has it in the later.
Yeah.
What, you think this number here at 645 would be the only year we do that big and out of this? Or
Well, it wouldn't
would
be,
change
I don't
every year?
think it'd be as that big.
Okay.
You know, because the debt payment, well, it's close to that because you have interest and principal. Yeah, it probably is close to that. I don't know, I just don't wanna make it so, I mean, we already got these transfers going like
Right.
this and
Right.
percentages and, you know, to understand this budget, and it's been this way, like I said, since the first road project, you have to know this number to make this number work, and then this number to work here. So I'm just trying to keep it from being too convoluted. So,
Well, I don't know. I guess, I know it seems a little confusing, but my simple mind, I'm gonna say,
yeah,
goes to capital improvement. That is a capital improvement.
Mhm.
And so I would go to that category
yeah,
and then look at what's coming out of it or going into it,
Mhm.
and then
So you're-
follow the breadcrumbs to get to where I want to be.
Mhm.
So I actually think it's okay this way.
like down here where it says transfer to debt service and it's reducing the capital improvement
Yeah.
transfer. So in a sense, what you're doing, instead of just taking it clear over to capital improvement, you're just reducing it here
Yeah.
and putting it into debt
But
service.
as long as you see that it within the capital improvement, you know, hey, okay, I got to look over here.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we don't have to decide that today, but just think about how you want to show it, because it is the public, they're gonna ask, you know, 5 million in debt, how are you paying for it? And you wanna make sure you as commissioners can, you know, explain it also,
I
saying
think we
this
told everybody it's coming out of
capital
capital
improvement, yeah.
So this
Yeah, I
still
wouldn't
comes
wanna-
out of capital improvement this way.
I wouldn't wanna have to say, well, it's coming out of this fund, this fund, this fund,
Yeah.
this fund.
Yeah, we're transferring.
Plus, we don't wanna impact the general fund.
Yeah. Okay,
I think
is
everybody's in
general
sort of
fund.
agreement, I think.
Well, yes, but
so we leave it like we got it right here? Is that the way you're thinking?
Are you okay with that?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at something else. I was trying to figure out that heated dock thing.
I was looking for a warning sign.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's a problem
Sorry,
with
no, you guys were just chatting about, so the way it is here, you are reducing the general fund levy? Is that what you said, Scott, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so what's happening here is, if you look on page 14,
Okay, sorry.
23 column, we have, instead of 1.1 million in the second line, the 7 mills, we actually
Yeah.
reduced that by the 645, 417. It's transferred into debt service, and then it pays. There'll be maybe a levy to kind of get you up to, get you up to speed for the next. I gotta work on this in a little bit, because if you look on 16 here, there's cash carryover of 418, 175. And typically what you do is you look at the debt payment when it's coming out. So like if the debt payment, and I don't remember, let me look here real quick. Look back to the debt schedule, I want to see something real quick. So the debt, oh yeah, because he set up the interest on March 1st, which is kind of interesting. Usually you don't see it till May 1st because of that very factor. You have your taxes you levy, and you try to get it as late in the year as possible so that you have your taxes in the account to be able to pay the payment.
And it's probably because of the timing of when
Yeah,
we did everything.
maybe so, yeah. So your interest payment would be 3-1. Your interest and principal, next interest payment and principal would be 9-1. So see, that's what they always try to get the principal in the fall so that you have the money built up. So what I'm saying is on 16, that 418, 175 is cash carryover. That's a little high. So that transfer, what literally that is the levy down below, so I'm gonna have to work on this in a little bit. I didn't wanna go messing with it until I knew for sure how you wanted to handle it. So what I'll do is I'll leave it like this, where the transfer comes from general, it comes over to the debt service, and then we'll look at what the payment would be in that next year to make sure we have enough cash to pay that March 1st payment. Because typically what you do is you have enough cash carryover and a little more to pay that interest payment in March 1st. You see what I'm saying? Because you'll pay all your cash down in the 23, and then when we come around to 24, we want to make sure we have enough cash to pay the first payment before the taxes get paid.
Okay, keep going, you're doing good, only I wanna know what kind of line you're gonna put in there next year, a year from now.
He's still wanting the dollar.
You mean for the 24 budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 24 budget, what this is saying here is that 645 is, let me double check that.
While he's looking for that, you guys asked me my thought on that. The very simplest thing would be just to reduce the transfer into capital improvement, but then move the levy away from the general fund to this other fund, so we don't have to constantly be transferring money in to make that payment.
Yeah.
You know, that would be the simplest,
Yeah.
so
General
instead of
fund,
levying whatever, 28 in the general fund, you're gonna levy 24, whatever it
right.
is, and then levy the 4 over here. Then it shows specifically that was levied just for that, we can't spend it on anything else. It can't accidentally get away from us out of the general fund. You could still reduce the amount you're transferring from general to capital improvement to fund it, and that's essentially doing the same thing. You're still utilizing that pot of money from capital improvement to pay the bond payment. But I would like
Track it.
better to do it the way Scott initially said, where you take reduce the levy on the general fund slightly, and then it can put a specific
That would be the cleanest way,
levy
yes.
on the debt service.
Okay, is that, we got agreement?
But then you gotta spring back in 9 years?
No,
Yeah.
you just move it.
Yeah, so here's
You're
where
still levying it.
what she's really saying is, I think, make sure it's clear,
That's what
is
we-
I know.
on 14, what you would do is that 645, 417 the first year would be, that line would be removed. You would leave the 535, 749 the way it is, not showing that transfer to capital improvement of the full amount, 1.1, because what you're doing is you're using that money to help pay that, and you reduce the levy in the general fund by the 645 and put the levy over on the debt service totally, and then you don't have to worry about another transfer that she has to make, okay? But
And
you're
it's
still,
cleaner,
you're still.
it shows
yeah.
what we're paying
Yeah.
for that.
And then to answer Randy's question, the combination, if you look on page 9, where the debt schedule is, the combination would be the 470 principal and the 175, 417 interest. Combination is the 645, 417, okay?
Yep.
So then in the 24 budget, we have to build enough in this here budget, and that's what I gotta work on, that cash carryover there. We have to build enough in there so we can pay the March 1st payment with whatever the January distribution is, and then the March. And then you should be pretty close, that payment right there, 645, 417, would be the payment. It just kinda depends how your cash flows
Cash
there.
flows.
Yeah, so each year though, your payment's gonna be that 645, 417, reflected in the debt service as the payment.
And at some point, you would have to probably increase your transfers back, that you're doing back into capital improvement, so you can still keep doing road projects.
Doing other road projects, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
So it will impact at some
Okay.
point,
Yeah.
even if it's not this first year,
Right.
it's gonna impact, because you're gonna have to make sure that you're covering both expenses.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
good.
So we got a consensus on how to proceed?
The heated dock, Scott, is included in, capital outlay of the courthouse.
Oh,
It was, they got it in 2 places, so that's why initially, it was at 325, 485,
here, hold on just a minute.
and I don't know if I have that page
Are you in 21 or 22?
for 21. You know,
So it's on page 14 at the top. Is it an actual line? It was a line item?
14, it was,
Capital outlay.
capital outlay is where it was, that 325, 485 is, it's in there,
That's
so.
coming through. Question
Oh,
mark.
and that number, okay, I got you, I
Yeah,
got
so
you.
that was the actual for,
Okay.
and then,
Do Do you
I
want
hadn't
it, do you
asked-
want it as a separate line or just leave it capital?
I like it better as a separate line, but not both. So
Okay.
that's why it was zeroed
So
out.
how much was the amount then?
The actual amount paid out was $325,485.
Well, that was what the heated dock cost?
Yeah, well, yes.
This is the second one.
Is that everything together that we spent on that, Tina?
I'll have to get that to you.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It was more than that, actually.
Okay, well, let's make sure we get that before we go back to this road thing and make sure. Okay, so what you're saying is on page 12, where I've got Lake Dock, you want to take the 325,485 out of the courthouse and put it as Lake Dock as a line item.
Or you could just leave it on capital outlay or
Uh-huh.
wherever it is and just put parentheses
Lake
that
Dock.
Lake Dock in
Oh, leave it
2021.
there?
You
Okay.
could, I don't care if you move
Leave
it.
it
I just
dock,
want you to
whatever.
know that
Okay.
it is reflected.
What do you
It
guys
just-
want to do? You want to leave this under the courthouse or you want to do a separate?
You heard her, she's the boss.
Okay, okay, she.
So on the budget, can we just move it from capital outlay to heated dock
Yeah, down below or
Yeah.
where's that?
down below?
Yeah, oh yeah, I can just put down here heated dock and put that whatever the other number, you got some other numbers maybe to add to that?
No, 325, 485, 24 was the total.
21.
And then there was, 17,000 was outstanding at the end, and I don't see that we've ever paid any more, so
And that being 22?
I don't think so. I don't think that we're gonna end up paying anything out on that this year.
Okay. Well, when you do your final, I mean, you'll do your final review like you always do,
Yeah.
you'll mark it up. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so I'll move heated dock, and still call it Lake Dock, I'll put heated dock over here on page 12 as a line item. 21 column, the 21 year will say 325,485.
and take that 325, 485 out of
And
courthouse
then
capital
I'll,
outlay.
over on page 14, I will remove the capital outlay line item that says
Just for the 21 year.
21 year. And leave the 1,500 in the other two columns?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna probably talk to you about that number for 21 and 20, or for 22 and 3.
Yeah. Seemed low, but.
It is low.
Okay, well, let's go back here then and make sure. Okay, so we started on page 12 with this conversation about transfer to bond and interest, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove on page 12, we're gonna remove the transfer to bond and interest here, because that is not how we're gonna do it, okay? Let me make sure I got that right. Transfer to park, we're not gonna do that, so we'll draw a line through that because we're gonna pay it out of risk management. Okay, then we go to page, let's just keep going here on page 13, we'll get to the road here in a minute. I think the question I had on here, I had on a sheet, under county attorney, there was it's called sync staffing or something like that. And it was, Lauren and I was confused because it said 13.5 was the middle column of juvenile detention costs. And I don't know if that sync staffing, does that come out of, is that part of that? It's something separate in it, or is it?
No.
Or
it's-
does that even need to be in there? That's what, I guess I was confused. I had it written there and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to put it in there.
Okay, so you need to leave those juvenile detention costs.
At 13.5.
I'll double check it, but yeah, those are not,
Right.
I'll double check the current year and next year for you.
Because 21 was 14,530, and so that's why, and I know it goes up and down,
Yeah.
I don't. So the sync staffing, I remember, I was reading it here, but that was a totally separate thing, and we were funding.
It's in flux.
Influx, okay, so 18.8,
So I
okay.
believe that's something the county attorney requested that be
Yeah.
removed
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
their duties, but they were not needing it immediately to happen.
Okay.
But the board probably does need to talk about whether they're gonna try to fund that some other
We
way.
Well,
will
it's-
have,
it's-
we will
it's a-
have further discussions, but at this point,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a budget item.
Yeah, it's a small, I mean, it's a smaller amount, not that, not that every dollar is
We're gonna have
important, but it's a smaller amount, yeah, okay.
Some of the receipts will have to be removed in order to pay for that, and a different allocation to go there. Right.
Yeah. Okay, 14, I didn't circle it, but I was gonna show you this. 'Cause I guess I forgot to circle it. If you look in the courthouse, when we were looking at the heated dock there, if you look in the courthouse at the very bottom line, we had decided to take 600,000 from 22 and 23 and make it one line of courthouse improvements of 1.2 million. You see that line?
Mhm.
And is that, did I interpret that correctly? Because we weren't sure what the project was gonna cost. Okay, well, I'll leave it there and then you can think about it.
I guess I'm puzzled, but
Well, it's,
remind me.
hold on.
I know,
Hold on, second floor.
But we-
That's 700,000.
We've all.
What page is that on, Scott?
Yeah,
I'm on page 14, it's courthouse improvements at the bottom of
Is
the
that-
courthouse up at the top.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that
I didn't, I was
the,
looking for circles.
Oh, no, I didn't have that in circle,
Yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
said that's circle.
Yeah,
tucking the thing?
Yeah.
I think
At the
was-
top half of the building.
Yeah.
but do we budget 1.2 million in 23?
I think that, were you trying to build
Built
to
to
that?
one.
Build for that, but I don't think we're gonna budget on that.
We do that over 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I would think either you do it over multiple years or you do a lease purchase type thing like you've done before, because I'm just telling you, I removed 630 up here twice over on the, that's
Wiped
one
out
point.
already.
Huh?
This is already wiped out.
Yeah, exactly, that's all gone.
It's all-
But I just, this is what this meeting's for, is
Yes.
what we talked to the first time.
Yes.
We clarified to make sure we're all on the same page,
So
okay?
So
So what do you wanna do there?
300,000 there? That's 4 years to get there.
Kent, what do you think?
I think well, it's gonna be, it's gonna become a priority
Oh,
pretty
sure,
soon, so
sure.
maybe 3.
Okay, that's what, John, I guess consensus is 3.
3 years?
300,000.
Oh, 300,000, okay.
That gives you.
Oh, for 4 years?
Yeah, build out.
Yeah, so the budget number we were looking for is 300.
Yeah, okay.
That,
4-year
that get us started?
plan. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's go down here to the debt on 14, this transfer. So if I heard you right, we're gonna leave line 1 the way it was. We're gonna leave line 2 the way it was because we reduced the amount of the transfer to capital outlay. We leave line 3 the same because that's just the 2 mills out of the 80%. And then we would remove the transfer to debt service taken from capital improvement transfers and take that out. Is that the way we understood it?
And levy it
And levy
specifically
it
out of the.
over on debt service?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll mark that line out. And we're levying it, levy out of debt service, okay. And then I'm gonna have to work on debt service at the cash carry, where I'll look at what the principal what the interest payment is in March of '24, and then we'll back into what that levy would be to make sure we have enough money, okay? So I'll work on that. Okay, so the next page, I had notes on the county counselor circled, but there was no notes by it from last meeting. It just said adjustments, so I didn't know what adjustments meant from the last, or I think I put that on there, adjustments. I wasn't sure.
We don't have a contract.
No.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't have one.
So,
Oh, we don't have contracts.
We do not.
Oh.
so I'm gonna guess.
For
leave
22,
numbers as is.
for 22 you don't have a contract?
What are you talking about, county administrator?
Council.
No, county counselor, I'm
Counselor,
just,
gotcha, sorry. You said attorney and then I was
Yeah,
confused,
counselor.
so that's okay.
did I say attorney? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
We should-
They are an attorney, aren't they? Should have been obvious.
It's time for a kid.
I need some more coffee.
Lots of.
Maybe you've had too much already.
I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Well, you,
And
You what?
Tony, I'm arguing with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Yeah, the notes on my sheet said, I didn't know what the board wanted to do on that.
Right.
They're making a change in the amount.
I would like to ask, we had Ty Wheeler in here and I see 4,000. Did he ask for a $500 raise?
Yeah.
Yes, so
4,500.
that has changed since our last meeting.
Okay.
Well, it could if you guys
Oh, or-
decided to. I mean,
Well,
you
that's-
can decide what
We
you
haven't
want to
acted,
do.
we haven't acted on it, he asked.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
We haven't acted on it. They're just
Acted on
asked for it.
conservation district. We didn't
Right.
act on that.
You know,
Okay,
that's-
so the county, let's just work down the way.
Yeah.
The county counselor is, leave it like it is until we figure it out or what you wanna do.
Is that okay? Leave it as is?
For now? I mean,
That's the
in the
consensus.
general fund, it, you can use it for, I mean, if you don't get it, yeah.
Good. Leave it as is.
Okay, then, what we did is we went through and listed out these amounts, but we took it up to the 170,000. So how this works is in the other sales tax, you have the 850 that we set back there on the general fund receipts, times 20, so you have a 170. So 170 is a total, and then you just break it out, like you're saying you have, I don't know, what was the one you were questioning?
Kansas legal service allocation.
Oh, yeah, okay, and what, is there a number that I need
He
to
asked
change that to?
4,500.
4,500.
I just, the board needs to,
I don't think anybody was opposed to that, were they?
well.
No, we just didn't ask.
We just didn't act.
Okay.
Typically, you don't act on those allocations until later, until
Right.
after you've approved your budget,
Yeah.
and then you do.
So do you want to put 4,500?
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
I know it's just $500, but still,
Yeah.
let's get it in there.
Okay,
Well, with the number of lawyers we don't have and stuff like that,
Yeah.
he's been here a lot of years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
And what he takes on is a blessing.
yeah. So then what that means is that one line, other, you see the last line there under sales tax, other, it says 70,134. I will reduce that by $500, but that would just be for, that'd just be for other things that come up.
Come on.
And I think the way that resolution was written is the 80% goes to roads and 20% can be spent, it'd say basically for anything else. Tina, do you remember? I don't know, I can't remember that.
Yeah, I think it's anything
Yeah.
I
else.
think it reads as whatever Kent deems.
Yeah.
He's always trying to bring up sales tax.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll see the circle at the bottom, so David's not concerned there. The zero, what had happened was you had told me, and I look back to my sheet here, I had marked out just the middle column. But it looked like maybe to Lauren, it was both, but it wasn't. It was just the middle column. So the way I'm leaving it back in there is this, what I have down at the bottom, the 140 like it was, is left in the 2023 column and will be added back in.
Yep.
Because you said for 2023, you wanted to keep it that way.
Yep.
That's what I noted on my sheet.
Yeah, that's the note that's, like, we've scratched out the
Mhm.
2022,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to stay for 2023.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
Okay, sorry, I knew when you guys flipped through there, you'd see that. Just before you got here, I said, I know, there's one
I'm glad you
department,
wrote
there's
that
one,
little note right
yeah,
there.
there's one department that got wiped out here and it wasn't supposed to be.
So Randy, you asked earlier I knew I had to retract this, the amount that we were out of pocket for the heated dock.
Oh.
So, just since I had it here and I forget later.
Okay.
We, at the actual out of pocket, after we paid the first guy, the second guy, the transport, and then we had the insurance
Right.
offset.
Oh, offset, yeah.
So, because we got an insurance
Right,
lien.
right.
So the total out of pocket to the county looks like it was about $302,015
Not too bad.
for the total.
Not too bad.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you, Tina.
Change that to heated palace.
It might actually be less because we didn't actually end up paying the full amount to the second builder. So
Not bad.
it's about 20,000 less than that, 280 something. Okay?
Appreciate it, thank you, Tina.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Metal coming
Oh, yeah, we got all that income.
What did it sell for?
It hasn't sold because we haven't got the bid out there yet. I just got the list from Isaac this week and the photos.
Somebody just brought that up to me the other day and I thought, gee, I forgot we put out the bids.
Yeah, so we'll draft that up and have it.
All right.
See, we'll make money on it.
So there'll be a receipt there somewhere, Scott. Just keep that
Yeah,
in
so
mind.
there'll be a big credit there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it'll be
know.
much of a big credit.
I was gonna say, my bid's not that high.
Okay, let's see, so we got that, we got that.
If I was gonna bid, it wouldn't be that
We got
high.
that.
Only 200,000.
Oh, man. I need another loan. If you're willing to give me 200,000 for that.
Several loans.
Yeah, or do your cost benefit analysis on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so on 16, I'll work that up now that I know the way it's gonna be done. I will remove that, what'll happen is that top circle will go bye-bye. And then the principal payments will be the way, the principal and interest will be the way they are. And then I will work in the 2024 interest payment and maybe just a little bit extra down here in the cash basis reserve circle, okay? So all you'll have is you'll have the two payments, principal and interest, and then cash carryover. And that'll tie hopefully close to what the interest payment will be for March of 2024. Does that
So
make sense?
645 is getting moved to what debt service?
No, we're just,
No, this
no,
is debt
that's where
service
it's going
fund.
away.
It'll, instead of showing as income here, it'll show as a levy that we're
Yeah,
taxing.
so what'll,
Okay.
so what'll happen is down at the bottom, the 422,351 will be increased by it'll be the 645, 417, plus whatever the interest payment is for March, have cash carryover in there in 24. So it'd be, I don't know what it'd be, half of 170 is 85, so it'd be 85 plus 645, so we'll be setting with that levy and the debt service of about seven something, almost 730, something like that. Does that make sense?
Heart attack, right?
Not me.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So about 4 mils,
yeah.
basically, ish.
Ish, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay,
Come out of non-revenue neutral, right there. So.
yeah. Okay, 17, there's nothing really I was gonna discuss on 17. 18 is where we were talking about, I was telling you earlier, we have the road and bridge building, and you had told me to change the memo there where the check mark is to 2 million.
Yeah.
And we had set 250 as the amount in 23, unless you want to change it.
Just stepping stone.
I didn't circle the 250, but it's a check mark by it there.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? Move forward. Okay, so the next page would then be the road and bridge expenditures. So, this is all in the same fund, so I'm just gonna have to redo it, but 495 was still shown there, because I must have not have marked it out. I just said update and I didn't mark it out. And maybe at that time I didn't know for sure how you want to handle the payment. On page 19, where the expenditures are, so the first circle up there, at 495, I didn't know whether it was originally how the bond payment we showed last year. Do we want to include that in the commodities of 950, or do you want to put it somewhere else in these line items? Because in 2022, we showed 950,000 and 495, and I just had moved those over. So do you want to make that one line, or you want to put it somewhere else down below? So we're levying the reason I'm asking, it's either cash carryover or you put in a line item, because we're levying the same amount in the road and bridge fund as we did, mill levy wise, as we did last year. There'll be a few more dollars to go in. So I mean, you're always needing Blacktop Road, it seems, or money. And you remember that when we show the total expenditures of 6.4 million down there at the bottom of that column on 23, you know, if something else comes up, you spend it. It's just like the general fund, because it's in its own fund. You can spend it in what line item if something would come up in the middle of the year. The other thing you told me was a $200,000 gravel project I had written here, and I wasn't sure I had it written there, but maybe that was from Bryce.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
We were trying to split out projects, and we added those lines to the budget,
Mhm.
to our accounts payable,
Mhm.
and we really haven't been using those lines.
So I didn't circle that one either, but if you look in the gravel road section, you'll see a $200,000 line added for gravel project.
And he wanted to do road rebuilds, and that's why we put that line in there, but like I said, we have done road rebuilds, but they don't ever separate out the line, they just put it in gravel, so.
Okay.
So it just
And
needs to be
So-
filled
So
out.
that, is he gonna account differently then for the road projects from just,
Well, I mean, if
gravel?
we keep leaving money there, you know, it probably should, if he wants to track it on the budget, we
Well, I
need to
mean,
be
it
able
looks
to
to
track
me like
it.
that's what he's saying.
Yeah,
Wouldn't this be in I don't know how many we've done so far, but east of Peabody Mile on, Pawnee, we redid that road for a mile. Is that where this should be?
yeah,
Get
so
counted from?
like,
Yeah.
Like
and when
rebuild.
Bev was here, that's when we started it, like her last year here, and we did do some, but we haven't been tracking it since then.
See, we've got some rock, we've got some cement, you know, haul some cement down on it for a base, and then we come back, rocked it just a couple times, so. Yeah, it'd be interesting, I think it'd be interesting to know for his good and our good too.
Right, I'd like to see it separate.
Not that much either.
To give you,
No.
I mean, yeah.
give you a little history here, I think it's 2008, this fund used to have, the blacktops and gravel were not broke out. So it was just road repair and administration and maintenance. So in 2008, when diesel was at that time $5 a gallon, I said, you know, we need to start breaking this out because you want to know how much you're spending on blacktop and you know. So the more he can break that stuff out, you know, it's better for him and for you. Now, I had this discussion with one of the other counties. They were wanting to put pencils on here. I'm just kidding. But they were wanting to put pencils on here, you know, because I have to kind of remind them this is the state budget form. If they want to track that, you know, inside their system, there's a way to do that, you know. So I don't know how much detail you want on here, you know, but roads are always something people, you know, I think when you come on new here, you go, what do we pay for roads? Well, we pay for roads out of the general, we pay for roads out of improvement, we pay for roads out of, you know, I mean, it's literally like
I think
42 different ways.
6-8 years down the road, you finally learn something.
Would you change the name of that to road rebuild instead of
Yeah,
gravel?
you could do that. Instead of gravel project, you could say road rebuilds or something like,
Gravel rebuild.
or gravel rebuild.
Gravel,
Okay.
yeah.
That, because you're talking
Either
about
way.
rebuilding gravel roads. right?
Yeah, okay.
I think that helps. Yeah.
Now, we talk about it here, but how do we get it to the clerk that should be doing it down there?
Once you
I
get your
mean,
budget, she'll
that's,
see it.
that's what it should, Bryce needs to get that.
No, I'll see it.
Sorry, what did you want to look at?
No, how to see it.
Okay.
He usually responds.
Yeah, he's not on, it's just us that's on.
Yeah, okay. And then the other question, I think the way I had it noted here, a $30,000 increase on last time I was here, down there in the maintenance. I'm not sure, I just put question, maybe that was a $30,000 increase he had for fuel, was that what I didn't see why I had that, and I was trying to figure that out.
I know the road sign, they said pretty well got under a handle.
Oh, really? So maybe.
We lowered the road signs.
Oh.
Yeah, road signs was
Yeah.
lowered from 75 to 30.
We've got surplus up with.
Okay.
Oh, I see, the 30,000 was, you make the road signs 30,000, the increase is referring to fuel.
That's what, yeah, see, I think what happened
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I-
separate
I was
those two
looking-
out.
Yeah, so,
Do
the
you
road
wanna
signs,
increase
you
fuel?
wanted, I mean, there were 47,000, the road signs are 47,000 in 21. We have 75 in 22, and I didn't know,
Yeah, it's.
We'll be looking at middle
He made,
column.
he made it
Middle
sound
column,
like,
yeah.
We need to.
yeah.
he made it sound like he got the road signs
Yeah.
under control.
Right.
So what we'll do, Tina's right, so we'll go through, and she's really good at this, of going through the middle column, because the middle column is so important
Yeah.
for the cash carryover to the 23 year. So if you're not gonna spend it, we'll mark it out and we'll carry it over to the
Good.
next year. So we'll straighten some of that out. And then the 30,000 was fuel, I think. And it's 340 in 21, and we had 500,000 and 500,000, so I don't know if we need to add anything to that or not.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That's
Because,
that 45.
you want now?
What?
Lowering the signs by 45,000, just move that to fuel.
Well, he's already lowered it on the 23 budget, but in the 2021 column, we can work
Wow.
with those lines, because I think the sign budget on this year's probably high, and the fuel budget's probably way too low, I think. So we need to do some
We
tweaking on
can
that.
move, we can mess around with that. a little
And
bit.
that might eat up some of that $4.95 too.
Yeah, up above, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I appreciate, once again, we see, can we get to gallons? And I marked it here on my deal.
Otherwise, it's just a shot in the dark.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm writing some notes as far as having a conversation with them downstairs about starting to track that, and I'll also
I
put on
talked to the
there
girls
about
yesterday.
What was
this
diesel here?
because
project.
who knows what our
$2.
future is.
That's what I mean. I mean, we, 500,000 might be low,
Yeah.
But we don't know.
but we don't know.
We don't know. Well, the budget numbers were set for 4 or 5 years ago, right? I mean, that's kind of where it's been riding.
We haven't changed it,
Conservative.
we haven't changed it a lot in the, because
So-
it's all in the same fund, so you
Just-
can use it
just-
for whatever line.
Just because 2 years ago and 3 years ago, it was way low, it didn't get lowered to reflect that.
No, we've set it high for what this just happened this year. But
Good planning.
hopefully it's high enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have some numbers
Yes,
to
yes.
base that number
Yeah.
off of.
I don't think each department would want, I mean,
Yeah.
Gotta figure their budget.
because fuel fluctuates so much.
Right, yeah.
But you got 10,000 more gallons you did last year.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, why, yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you got 10,000 more, we'll just say this price increase, don't look at it.
Yeah, I didn't know this, I've learned a lot, like even in those days, I don't know how you do your sheriff deputies, but they have some coming out of other counties, and every one there has a car. 36 cars in Osage County. Unbelievable. Okay, so I guess what they used to do is they had to pay, the minute they hit county line, they had to pay, no, they didn't have to pay anything from the county line to the headquarters. But anything on the other side of county line to their home, they had to take it out of their, I mean, I learned that the other day, I didn't know that, okay? And so I think this fuel thing has really got people, you know, what's an employee benefit? What's a, you know, do we shut our vehicles off in the sheriff department when we, you know, a lot of times you'll hear a police car running. I've had that conversation.
All the time. I've never
Yeah.
seen one shut off.
Yeah. And I asked him about that the other day. I asked him that the other day. I said, why? He said, well, there's so much computer, and I see that, I mean, on those vehicles, there's so much computerized stuff on it that if you shut it off, when you have to start it back up,
Everything
there's a bunch of
glitches.
rebooting, I guess, or
Recalibrate.
something.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, I just learned some, I mean, there's things to learn there and how we, you know, how we handle some of those expenses. Okay. 20, we're on page 20. We'll keep focused here, we're trying to keep
It's
focused.
gonna go quick here in a minute.
Yeah. So I didn't have any changes on the ambulance or appraiser's cost. It was, I went through and checked the numbers back to what we had. That was the ambulance. You'd said that the ambulance now is not gonna be purchased until 2024. We put 270, I didn't circle it, but there's 270,000 stuck in the ambulance replacement. And we got the remodel done. Now, one question I had, and I didn't have it noted here.
There's Bryce.
Your ears were burning.
Nope, there he is.
There's a question about gallons of fuel.
Okay.
Is there a way to track gallons of fuel?
From your department. And we don't expect you to do it from everybody else when they're using a credit card. We'll try to work that out later.
Okay. Well,
Just-
yeah, I mean,
Your card troll should start
yeah,
making that easy, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because, well, our pumps read in gallons anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't read it in dollars. I mean, the only place that comes into play is we need to make sure that we adjust our fuel price, or our fuel bid when it's delivered, so that it affects our costs.
Mhm.
So if we have to, we use fuel up until we get new deliveries, just like the gas stations, next time we get delivered, we change that price. But yeah, our gallons are definitely taken care of, so.
How many gallons do you buy with a credit card in your department?
We use a credit card in Lehigh for a blade. We have 2 blades that use it in, no, sorry, just 1 blade in Tampa.
Hillsborough,
Hillsborough, we have
Calvin,
2.
or Gossel.
Galvin, yeah.
That's what they
No.
do. Scott's group.
Yeah, but,
No.
but Galvin's the highest.
Scott.
That's
Very,
what Scott said when he.
almost, I did use
That's a
my
perk.
credit card when I was in Gossel, but other than that, we hardly ever do that. Peabody, they do every now and then. Florence, we don't. And
But there,
Marion, we don't.
I was just getting at, there is some usage.
Yes.
That's not tracked through your pumps.
And
or your
other,
department.
also, don't we have tanks that people fill up at other places for
Right.
graders and stuff
Right.
that are not?
That
As
would
part of
be
this,
harder to
yes,
track.
yeah,
So you'd have to keep that in
yeah,
mind too.
yeah. And
Because
those
we have
is,
tanks that
all those
have,
remote tanks, yeah,
Remote tanks.
yeah. But I mean, we know how much goes into there all the time.
you could always just, you could track your purchases,
Yeah, how many
Yeah.
gallons went in?
Yeah,
like
What-
when the county buys fuel.
right.
I think just to catch you up a little bit, Bryce, is we think gallons might help us be able to help total dollars, see what we total dollars, you know, how many gallons we use, see
How
what
much
it's
cost a
It's
gallon
going from
versus
$2.50
how much
to
cost a
$5.
gallon.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I wish there was a simple way of doing it, but you know, it just,
But the majority of it runs through your system.
obviously unleaded wise, yes, almost everything is unleaded, come out of the off-road diesel, probably have more remote
Okay.
than we do here.
Okay.
Simply because, most of them have the remote, either
Sure.
remote tanks
Tanks.
or use the,
Yeah.
Yes.
so.
That makes sense. What's it take to fill up a grader? Do you know how many gallons?
Depends on
On the
how long
tank.
they go, how hard they use it.
Well, I mean, no, I just mean
It
the
does-
tank. What's the
It does
tank?
hold 100.
100 gallons?
Most of them are right at 100.
Typically, they're
It's 300 hours.
40 gallons down on the day.
It just depends on, you know, one of the guys will come through, if he's going from the west side of town to the east side of town, he'll come through and fill up. So it may be 30, 40 gallons. Other times he may come through, he's totally empty.
But do you have an average gallons per hour that a machine would use?
Well, again, the gallons per hour is based on what they're
How
doing.
hard they-
How hard
Yes,
they're working.
Yeah.
How hard to make it snort.
Rebuild
Yeah,
the road or?
yeah, because if you're really down
Yeah.
at this point, you're gonna burn up a lot
Yeah.
more fuel.
Yeah.
We are in the process of trying to come up with, those numbers on average. So if we report hours, on the motor graders, and then we can put the cost to that, it gives us an approximate idea. But like I said, it does vary,
Yeah.
so,
That was a question to me, the other day, how many hours, or how many gallons per day do
yeah.
they use?
Yeah. You know, most of them are pretty good, I think they run in the 30 to 40 gallons per day.
Okay.
You know, and again, it depends on.
Yeah. That's general, that's
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Times 12.
For the most part, yeah. Well, and you know, it could be that, we have a 13th in there where we have James working too, you know, so.
I like it. If it works, that's good.
That sounds like you're working on it, and I learned some things, so that's good.
Well, Bryce is here, what other questions were there? There was a separate line item for gravel road rebuild.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
real close, yeah.
So I think the issue is, we've had that line item, and we just need you to start, if it needs to be charged out of that, it needs to be coded that way, so
Yes.
that we can.
Yep, yep. And that's something that I've been working on to make sure that we do separate those two. Typically, it will get put in the regular gravel roads, and we try to stay, obviously make sure that we stay within that budget and maybe use some of that money out of there. But yeah, I'll agree with you, we need to spend on rebuilds, so.
Offhand, how many have you got? I know the one at Peabody looks good, but have you got, how many, 3 more, 4 more, 5?
I have a whole bunch lined up, but Mother Nature is just not
Not
being
there.
very nice right now.
About a month ago, you gave us a prioritized
Yeah.
list of
Yeah.
which rebuilds.
It's roughly, I mean, it's roughly 8 miles per district, but again,
Yes.
we went to blade patch start 3 weeks ago and we're still.
And the longest day of the year is already passed, so
Thank
days are
you,
getting
thank you, I
shorter.
appreciate that.
The days are getting shorter.
It is, it's already started?
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
summer,
June
summer
21st.
solstice
June
is the-
21st.
Yeah, the days are getting shorter.
Yeah,
The pressure's
I
on.
couldn't remember
The
what
pressure's
day.
on now to get
Yeah.
wrapped up.
Wow.
Pretty tough to get that, because it's my daughter's birthday, so.
For the new building, we've put the goal post at 2 million and allocated 250,000 as a step
Okay,
budget.
per month?
Per month.
You didn't clarify it, so I was just.
It's in the budget.
You got to ask, you know.
Now we have to move toward that goal post.
But that 250 could be used to purchase some ground for.
Some what?
That
We're
250
purchasing
could be
ground?
used to Move some ground or something like that, I mean,
Yes.
couldn't it? I mean,
Yes.
Well, you get given the ground, pour some concrete,
Yeah. But it's,
to put it on later.
what else was there for price? The big thing was the gallons. We had quite a bit of discussion, obviously because of the cost of fuel and concern. But gallons kind of give us something to grasp.
Sure. I would like to say that I'm I guess, the plan, I mean, you would think the newer equipment would be more fuel
Yes,
efficient.
yes.
With that being said, you know, that's what's
Not
supposed to
always.
be. Well, right, but I'm just saying it's, and you know.
Depends on the driver.
Well, that too.
Well, you got rid of a 120
But-
and got something bigger.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
There-
Even
but
if it's more fuel efficient.
it's
Yeah,
still
well-
more fuel efficient, but it uses the same amount of fuel.
Could be, yeah, and of course, you know, the new ones obviously are using DEF as well, so it's better for the
Yep.
environment, but.
My old blue Dodge of 21 years old gets a lot better mileage than my black one that's got all that junk on
Junk, that emissions.
it. I'm sorry, I didn't say that right.
Yes, yeah,
Emissions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for
You
Bryce?
should
while
need to
he's
go
here?
electric.
I know.
Morning
Where do I
talk.
plug it
All
in
right,
and
thank
go?
you. Good time.
Yeah, it happened to work out, it's like, you know what, well, anyway. So. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So we
thanks,
had a
guys.
couple questions.
He just wanted to know about his building.
Yeah. It's on there.
250 a month. Well, you get that done pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Little
Okay.
goalpost keeps moving.
Yeah. Page 20, we talked about ambulance. The one other question I had, and I didn't have it written down here, but we got the one building completed and we paid a little bit in the middle. I think there was $11,000 of maintenance going forward.
Yeah.
But is there another building you're
Yes.
working on at some point? or
Set a
what?
goal for another one to come later.
Okay, so I need to put a line in there?
Yep. Yep.
What do you want to put in there?
Actually, you move the 12,000 down to another line and leave that 400,000 where it's at,
Okay,
that line.
So that 12,000 line would just be for building maintenance
Yeah.
and repairs.
oh, and then put the 11, okay,
And then leave that goalpost one, ambulance building remodel / new. You've
Yeah,
got
so-
400,000 there on the goalpost.
Yeah.
In the parentheses, do you see?
yeah. So leave that line,
Keep all the 21 and 22 expenditures on that
Yeah.
line.
Mhm.
Move that 12,000 down to a different line or whatever
Move
it
it
was.
down to the maintenance line.
And make a new line for building maintenance.
so I have maintenance there,
yeah.
$11,000.
So you just make that a 20,
Oh, so that 12,000.
23,000.
So do I leave the 12,000 up there and that's the line you keep building on for the next building, or you want?
I guess you put whatever on that line you want, but what Travis asked for was 12,000, I think, for maintenance.
For maintenance.
And it looks like we might have it in there 2 times.
Yeah, we had
So 12 and
11,
11.
they had 11,000.
So 11 is fine, and then
11
figure
is
out.
what he had on
I
his
think
sheets,
For this year, just leave it the way you got it there.
just like I got it. Is it okay for this year?
'Cause then you still got the 11,000 maintenance in there.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then you got a stepping stone, and we're not being too aggressive just yet.
Right, so that was the thing I didn't write down, but I remember you talking about, it. I just wanted to make sure, because over here on the left side, and David may see that here, it says $200,000 new building, and that's why I didn't know if I needed to put and it said 2023 budget 50,000, so I didn't know if you
That's what we talked about.
talked about, yeah, so if we put another line in for 200,000 for a new building and put 50 in the.
For a starter.
For starting, you know, saving that money, that's what because it was over on the left side, and I wanted to make sure before I started doing that was.
New building?
Why would you leave it with that 400,000?
Yeah, just put it on that line,
Just put the 50 in that line?
the,
Yeah.
where it says 400,000.
Yep.
Because we're not,
So you're wanting to change the goalpost to 200, is that what the board was talking about before?
I don't know where we're seeing the 200. Where's
No,
this?
it was just, what it was when I was here last time, I had my notes that I already had prepared for you, but then when I was here, we had talked about, was it Peabody
I
or
think,
somewhere?
I think you're right.
So I had put.
Everybody might need 200,000.
Yeah, I put
Or
down.
we need 400,000 for the county,
Yeah.
and we'll decide whether to put
For the
it in.
oh, where to put it, I got you, okay. So let's go back and make this simple. So we got an ambulance building, you wanna leave the 400,000 there because there's still an expenditure in 21 that shows 453.
Yeah.
And do you wanna build a separate line, say ambulance buildings, and put a goalpost of 200,000 and put 50 in the 2023
Why
column?
wouldn't you leave it all in one with
Yeah,
400,000?
I didn't know if you needed to separate them out or what you need to do.
Probably not.
Because we
Okay.
don't know where we're gonna build.
Okay, so the 12,000, then what I would understand that to be, then on that same line where it says 400,000, the 12,000 was, I don't remember how he said it, but he had 12,000, he had 11,000 as maintenance. So do we wanna put 50,000? Do you wanna put 62,000? You see what I'm saying? I mean, like, is it 12,000 maintenance and 50,000 is for the goalpost moving, you know, for the amount you're wanting set aside going forward? That's what I was,
I think, didn't you guys say 12 and 11 together would be 23 for maintenance?
Yeah.
And then
That's a lot of
instead of
maintenance.
$50,000 for the start?
So where's the
He doesn't need
50,000?
the 23,000 for, he didn't think he needed that much for maintenance. He
Yeah.
was using some of that money to fund something else in
Okay,
his
yeah,
budget.
okay.
But
So you put, where's the 50 at that we're talking
it's,
So
about?
there's-
it's not.
I'm confused, what's the 12,000 and 11,000? They both
no, I
maintenance?
think that's duplication, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 11,000 was, he had put there, I need maintenance going forward on the building in Hillsborough. And then the
Shouldn't need
12,000.
that much maintenance.
I think what he was doing, if I read his notes right, was he was wanting to put aside, so in 5 years, if you have to redo air conditioner or something like that, instead of just, you know, coming 5 years and having to come up with
Okay.
$50,000, I think that's what he was,
10,000 a year for.
yeah,
for
for
future.
maintenance, for future maintenance, or you wanna call it, I don't know what you call it, I just put maintenance, but
Right.
building maintenance, maybe I should put building maintenance, building maintenance.
Maintenance, because then it's generalized for his ambulance maintenance.
Maintenance or anything, okay. And then the 12,000, I think is a duplication. Do you wanna put 50 where that 12,000
Yeah.
is for the next building?
Yeah.
Yes.
And just leave it in that one line
Yeah,
item?
that'll work.
Is that what everybody wants to do?
So we're gonna grow that number?
To 400.
Yeah, grow that
4 years?
Shoot for a 4-year target on all these things. All right.
And we haven't, we should have enough, because if you look right, I don't have it circled, but if you look right below all those lines, there's a cash carryover of 605, 698. And that's what you always try to look for. The cash, this is finally kind of help catch back up here, because you have 753 in the cash in 21, 830 in 22, and then the 605 in 23.
Yeah.
This fund I always look at as like a business.
Yeah.
It's literally just almost like a business, you know, you have your fees and everything coming in up here, and then your,
Except for all the write-offs. I guess business
Well,
has write-offs
but
too,
yeah.
but not like this one does.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank God.
But you said
We'd all
something
be
there, Ron.
broke.
A 3-year goal would put it up to 75,000, 65 or 70,000 if you used a 3-year goal instead of a 4-year goal.
What do you think?
I think three years might be a
Better?
better goal.
Tampa would appreciate that. I mean, that's where we're building, right?
Yeah, if they get more runs, yeah. I think there's something to be said when we come with the final plan, Dave, for both ends. I think there's something to be said.
So what do you want to put there? 75, 50?
Let's try 75, if we have to cut it, we can.
Where's everybody?
Randy's at 75, so
Yep.
we'll go 75.
Okay. I think that's all on my calendar. I've got to be in Tampa here one of these nights for the Tampa City budget.
That'd be more
I mean, that'd be
difficult
like
than this.
excitement, won't it? Okay, keep going here. Okay, okay, so I'm gonna put 75 and leave the same line, so it just keeps. Do you want me to do you want me to leave the 400,000 over here in the memo, or does it go post a different number?
Now we're talking about two different stations, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's only one.
But Jonah hurt me because he says his inspector inspects Peabody and Hillsborough,
Oh, so that'll be 6. Well, I just met with the new inspector here, so get ready for some changes.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, maybe he'll start working for Hillsborough or Peabody.
Oh, it's a real deal now over here.
Over with.
All right, move on.
Okay, 75,000, got it there, and we'll move, and we'll leave maintenance at 11, and we'll go from there. Okay. 21 is the employee benefit fund. Tina and I will work on that one. That's at the top of 21. 21 bottom, we'll also work on that. We'll get, hopefully, the nurse to give us kind of some detail on the receipts. We don't want to overestimate them. And if you remember, just to remind you, this is one where if we did have enough, we're a little bit tighter on cash, but I want to make sure the receipts are right. But the levy has to stay the same. I think it's that way. I need to find that out. Did that change?
I don't know if it changed, but we do have to fill out appropriations
Yeah.
for them, and they count, the ad valorem and motor vehicle to
Yeah.
that, so.
Okay, so
if-
we're always, yeah.
So we can, I didn't realize that before, you may
I
not,
didn't know-
may
I
not
didn't
have to
know
have the
count
levy
motor.
exact the same.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, well, we'll work on that one. The next page.
Just 1 second, Tina. What are you looking forward in the employees? I mean, just a general upcharge of insurance, and is that what would be added to it, or up there at the top one?
Right, because basically, every time you have a step raise or a cost of living raise or whatever,
Yes.
it increases our portion of capers, it increases the amount of taxes that we pay.
New positions.
New positions are added, that
Yes.
increases.
Yes.
Promotions,
Okay.
every time a wage increase occurs, and then same thing with work comp, those premiums are figured on the wages.
Okay.
Unemployment is figured on the wages, so
Okay.
every time the wages change, we have to make sure that we're trying to estimate those new costs. And then
Yeah.
also thinking about health insurance, I mean, we always budget
Right.
for an increase in health insurance, just to be safe.
Thank you. I mean, I need to be reminded of that
Very well.
Yeah,
Well,
so, and
creates
so keep in mind then too, if you guys decide
Sarah
to look at other
expenses,
numbers for
benefits.
wages after this, you're gonna be looking at other numbers for employee benefits along with that.
Okay.
Okay? Did that help, Randy?
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. 22, I didn't have any questions on aging or election. And again, this is subject to Tina reviewing.
Yeah, we don't have any questions on those either.
One thing that I do want to mention to the board that I didn't put in my sheet was, our scanners, we have they're awesome that we, because we just upgraded them a couple years ago. I'm gonna try using the precinct scanner for the early voting this time instead of just the mail ballots. So I'm sorry, I don't know how much time you have, but
Oh, I haven't.
it's okay.
I'm gonna go to the restroom while you're
Okay.
explaining that.
So but
You got excited all of a sudden. We got to start talking about elections.
I know, well, we're right in the middle of it. So what I would like to try this time, and I'm planning to try this time, is using the precinct scanner for early voting. So when people come in and do their early vote, whether they print it out on the touchscreen or whether they fill it in with a pen, they'll get their paper ballot in their hand. Instead of putting it into one of the blue ballot cans and us scanning it on election night first thing, I'm gonna have them scan it, put it into the precinct scanner. It'll count their vote right then. And then I just take the flash drive and bring those results in. So I wanted gonna test it on this one, see how that works for us, because,
Good luck.
and also, you know, if they haven't done something right, it spits it back out, says, hey, something's wrong, can you look at it again?
Did
So,
they allow, I thought you couldn't start counting until.
no, we won't know.
Okay.
But we can use the precinct scanner, it'll be tallying those votes, and then when early voting closes, that's when we run the report.
Okay.
It tallies as you go, but we won't know what the tallies are. So yes, it's allowed.
Get us into hot water.
No. But the thing I want to mention is so I just wanted to let you know about that change of how I'm gonna do it. And then I'll run the mail ballots on the big scanner this time, like we used to. See, last year, we were counting ballots early too, because the mail ballots were going into that precinct scanner. But there's no way for us to, I mean, we could run a results report, but it wouldn't, we don't until the appropriate time, and we can't release anything. So, okay, but the thing that I wanted to mention to you regarding the budget is our scanners are awesome, and I appreciate that we were able to upgrade those. They can capture ballot images, but we don't have technology on our computer to be able to import and look at ballot images. So that might be, that I have just sent out a feeler email to see how much it would be to upgrade that program to where, I mean, it'll bring the results in right now, but I can't view a ballot image. And at some point in the future, that might be something that we want to do here in Marion County. Or the legislature may require it at some point in the future.
sure.
So I just want to let you know I've got an inquiry in to see how much that upgrade is on the actual computer software. So, for future.
Good.
Okay? That's all.
And what you said,
Yeah.
I just walked in last night to get fireworks permit, and the clerk's in there calling people to run for the, run the polls, you know, calling for people right now, so like you said,
Yeah.
you're doing that, you're right there.
And I'm gonna have to be putting out a plea in Peabody, because all of our regular poll workers in Peabody are backing out of it now. They're getting to a place where they don't have, they're either having health issues, they're getting older, they don't wanna do it anymore. So we're looking for a new crew,
Huh.
so,
Well, this one, August, right?
yeah,
Second.
August 2nd. In fact, I have to place my ballot order this, probably by Monday.
Hey, Tina, on your volunteers, have you thought about appealing to the business community that they supply one person, you know, and the employer pays that person to go? But a lot of them won't go because they.
We pay the volunteers.
I know, but not the
Yeah.
standard wages.
Right. No, I haven't ever really thought about that kind. I mean, we do pretty well keeping people and getting new people in most of the sites. It's
But
just
you get
sometimes
younger people.
certain sites we run short. And usually what I'll do is I'll run a newspaper ad in that area, or I'll put it on social media. Hey, people in this area, please respond if you want to be a poll worker. Otherwise, we may have to stop voting here. I mean, seriously.
Wow.
I
Sorry,
have,
that's
it's
the way.
the truth, because,
Already happened.
well, I'm not being mean about it, but just being real, because if we can't get poll workers, we can't have a polling location
Yeah.
there.
We don't want to get to the point where we have a centralized voting place.
I
That's
really
it.
would prefer
At
not
the
to. I
courthouse,
want
huh?
it to be as convenient as possible for folks.
Absolutely.
And so we had to do that in Gossel a few years ago, because I couldn't get people in Gossel, and now we're doing really well in Gossel. It's just a transition time in
Yeah.
Peabody, so we'll get that taken care of.
Cool.
I won't threaten them, please, don't get me wrong.
All right, Scott, you're in charge.
On 22, one question I did have, and this will get taken care of when we do the middle column, it's on that insurance for the aging. I didn't circle it, but it's 42.1. That's, you know, that's where if you fully funded I think we've always paid for half of it maybe, or
We're paying for all of it.
are you paying for all
Well,
of it?
I think we funded as if we were gonna have to pay for all of it.
Yeah.
But the middle column may be able to be adjusted, we'll have to look at that. We are paying, they used to want us to actually pay the amount to the area agency as a payment in the full amount they asked for, and we said no. We said, you bill us for what's actually used, we'll
Yeah.
put it in the budget, and
Yeah.
then, so that's what we're doing.
Awesome, okay, perfect. And with all this talk on the election, is there anything I need to change on that?
I don't think so,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
I was just kind of giving them a little update.
Perfect. 23, noxious weed, didn't really have any changes, I don't think, on my sheets anyway. Park did, and Park is the one where, we do have the transfer. If you see the circle there, right above the circle, the transfer from bait shop is 15. We may want to, let's see. Let me see if I can find that real quick here, to make sure we're on the same page as we talk about both of these. So if you look at page 31, have your finger in 31 and 23, we had transferred in, like we were saying earlier, we transferred in 15 and 21, 15,000 and 21, first column on the bottom there for the 31. And we had commodities, we bought things for the bait shop. We had 14th into 21, and then the next year we had sales. It was 11,000 and 21. It'll probably be more this year, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because now it's.
Had a half a year
Yeah,
last year.
yeah. So I left it at 14. Do I need to increase that on the sales side?
You can take a look at that.
Okay, see where you're at, yeah, okay. And then, commodities, we just put 12, and, you said something about, Lauren had asked about salaries. I don't know if you wanna put another line in there and reduce the transfer to Park, in the 23 column, the 15. Do you wanna do it in 3 years, 2 years, or you wanna leave it at the 1 year? I mean, 1 year's gonna run it pretty tight, I think.
Just put,
If you did.
honestly, the only thing I was looking for was a parentheses next to transfer to Park.
Oh,
But
okay.
if you did a transfer
Oh,
of
okay.
5,000 a year for
Right.
3 years in a row, I
There you
mean,
go.
you'd have it
Yeah.
done too.
But that was the only thing I was bringing up.
Okay,
because,
let's put a parentheses of 15,000 transfer to Park, and then, we have cash carryover. So put 5 over there maybe, and then if you wanna do more than that, it doesn't matter, I mean, you can. Okay,
I was sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to
it's
try
gonna
to.
increase as more
Yep.
people.
yeah, because more people put in sales, and you'll be a cash cow for them.
And you mentioned that she took the salaries out. If it gets really busy and they need to hire some
Yeah.
part-time folks, then we'll.
You can add it, it's not, yeah, it won't matter. Okay, so what that means then is the 15 over here on 23,000 will be now 5,000. And then the transfer from risk management and transfer from general, we're gonna mark that out. The circled amount. And then the dam repair, the 20,000 down below, we're gonna mark that out.
200,000.
I'm sorry, 200,000, sorry about that. What did I say, 2,000?
You said 20.
20,000, oh, okay.
A little off.
I thought you were gonna work with your code. Take care of it.
Painfully so.
Wow!
Ooh.
Man, everybody
Don't tell
just
him.
knows all the news.
Yeah, I didn't tell him.
Okay, so, we removed that. Now, the thing here Tina brought up, if you look at the bottom of 21 column, it's 216,391. And one thing we've always tried to do, now that we had built this up because we have those 3 line, we have electrical upgrade, it's kind of a continual thing. We have a, superintendent garage, equipment storage. We have those parentheses, set up there, those amounts. Typically, I don't like to build these little bitty funds like this, cash balances up too much, because if you need money somewhere else, you can't pay it out of here. So I've always tried to keep these where they're workable, they're flexible, but the general fund, you always try to keep the general fund where the amount is, because then you can just write a line item in there and say, oh, I'm gonna pay for the, this over here at the park, or I'm gonna pay for this over here at the whatever. So, Tina had brought up earlier, maybe you wanna pay part of the dam out of here, because you do have 216,000 at the end of 21. So that's a question, I don't wanna just blow past that, because there is a pretty healthy cash balance in the park fund.
Is his building still in
Yeah, we got the 3 lines up there, if you see the 3 green checks there.
Yeah. Percentage wise, really, yeah.
What was the events? I mean, that was off the April's thing. What, did you have some of
So
them.
we've started tracking on our financial management for, like, if they have events, what those expenses are, what those receipts are. Because they have, like, Bluegrass at the Lake, and they have chili every year, they have a chili feed, and now they're starting a fireworks show every year.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to keep a little bit better track of that, so that we
I-
know
I ran into
what
pic-
that's bringing in.
I ran the picture the other day of the largest marshmallow in Guinness Book of World Records. I saw the picture of Ethan and I. Well, that was a couple years ago.
That was a hot fire. And I had 3 little bitty kids.
Yeah.
And I was
Isn't
like,
that amazing?
"Ah."
Yeah, amazing.
I was there.
Yeah.
How, 15 years ago?
Was it? I don't know.
No, what was it?
Probably,
It's
yeah.
been a bit.
I bet it's been 15. Yeah,
Been long.
because Ethan's 24. Yeah, he would probably been like 10 or 11.
What, 10?
Okay, so I'll change that, and then, let's see, I don't think there was anything else. I mean, I would need to know if you do want to pay, what we could do is you could split the invoice at the dam, you know, you could put 100,000 as a line item out of here in the park, and 100,000 over to risk management, and then when the invoice, whenever you did get the work done, you just pay, you know, split the invoice. Do you want to put a line over here, or you want to leave it like, and just pay it all out of risk management?
I don't know. I know the dam, or the lake needs some
Improvements.
improvements
I'd
and
rather pay our risk management.
Well, I was thinking about this morning.
Put it in the
This is
ground.
one, as an auditor, I'm not your auditor, but if risk management can only be used for risks, and,
Well, the dam's sliding away.
well, that's what I mean, and the dam is a risk, okay? So when you have the chance to use risk management, it is general fund money, but when you have the chance, it's kind of nice to be able to define it as a risk and use it there. And then over here, you could use it, you know, one thing we could do here, we have a levy of 123,000. If you got to the point where you said, well, the cash balance there is too much, we could always reduce that levy for a year or two also and put it in the general fund. I mean, that's another way, that's really the only 2 ways to reduce cash, is you have to do it at budget with the levy, or you do it by making an expenditure out of there, you know, like the dam or something like that. Or the buildings, if you go on and do the buildings. And there's no right or wrong answer.
I think
Just leave it like it is.
cap, risk management.
Risk management, okay?
So on the risk management fund, though, Scott, the middle column, we can change, I believe,
Okay.
when we get there, whenever you're ready.
Oh, yeah, we can change that, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm done with 23, we're gonna mark that out. 24, we have the solid waste fund. I didn't have any questions on that. We have the special bridge, and I can mark that building set up out. Didn't really have any other questions there. And then we're to non-levy funds, and I don't know if I had any questions until the risk management fund, so that would be, oh no, I did have a question on the bottom of 27, but you answered it.
Yeah, 4 roads.
2 new, 2 used, so we got that, okay? 4. So we're 4. And then bond and interest jail, that's just clean, there's a little bit left there, I guess. Capital improvement, okay, I gotta clean this up a little bit, I wanna make sure I understand this. So, the bond proceeds in the middle column I have circled, debt over there was 5 million, but the proceeds was 4.5, I mean, is it 5 million? Is that what the debt proceeds are?
I'll help you get exact numbers on that.
Because you said something about you have the issuance cost you have to take care
Right,
of.
we're closing, and we got some premium also.
Yep, okay.
That the board decided to keep.
Okay,
And we're closing that on June 30th, so there'll be time before the next meeting for us
Yeah.
to have exact numbers for
exactly,
you.
okay, we'll work on that. Yeah, then we'll just straighten out the transfers and all that, because we know what we're gonna do now, we're gonna levy it, so we'll straighten these out, okay.
But the proceeds, I think, will be closer to 5 in this
Okay.
one, possibly.
Okay, the next page is risk management. So what we'll do, instead of making a transfer to park for dam repair, I'm gonna say dam repair, and I'm gonna put parentheses, 200,000. we'll make that number, instead of 83,900, it's on page 29, it'll be 200,000 instead of 83,900. And then what Tina was saying is, the middle column, we're showing the full amount that was budgeted last year, so I don't know, have you spent anything out of that this year?
Yeah, we spend, we've been spending 300 a month for a risk management thing that we have monthly now.
Yeah.
And then also, the board approved some radio upgrades for first responders out of
Okay.
this.
Uh-huh.
So that will be about, I think we could probably put 20,000 in risk management in the middle column and be okay there.
Okay. And you want to put it in the expenditure related to disasters or in contractual?
Contractual,
25?
20 or 25 would be fine.
Okay, I'll put 20. And then if you spend it, you just don't have, you have the budget
Right.
authority in 23, you just don't.
Have the cash, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that'll help.
Okay, yeah, that will.
Okay.
Okay, because you had, at the end of 21, you have 460,000, so you're set. So even if the dam does cost 200,000, you're still set. Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll just have to watch it for future, because we don't want it to get too bad.
Yeah, okay.
Risk management allows ARPA, right? We can reimburse that, or no, infrastructure.
If we receive infrastructure funds and we're able to utilize that for the dam instead, then we can, yes, reimburse. I think we should be able to
I
reimburse.
saw there was
that.
I'm not gonna be able to go, it's in July, but there's I think it's in Wichita, there was a special bill, it's BIL, it's the infrastructure bill. There was gonna be a 2-hour seminar, I don't know where I saw that. And I was gonna see if Carlotta could go to it, because I think there is gonna be potentially now, and I'm hearing it more and more, that you're gonna have ARPA, but then you're gonna have this infrastructure bill that, and I just don't know what's gonna be in that yet to be able to use it, but is the infrastructure like for your roads, is the infrastructure for buildings, is it dam, whatever, how they're gonna define that. But, we'll see, I'm sure there'll be more information.
Yeah, so if the dam ends up being a qualifying expenditure in the qualifying time period, and you
Mhm.
decide to charge it to that, you probably could reimburse.
If it's anything like ARPA, what she's saying about the qualifying time period, so like, we had this happen in a county out west. It had to be March 3rd of 2021 or after that the contract was dated, okay? Well, all the expenditures were made at the end of March or April, I think it was in April of last year. But the one thing that kept them from doing it was the contract was signed in December of 20.
Right.
So you have to, that's, like that right there, if you had a contract signed for the dam, and it would happen to come up like that, that whatever that window is that starts, that would be
Right.
the only thing that keep you from maybe, spending it for the dam repairs. The dam, to me, dam repair would be infrastructure, but I don't know how they're gonna define it. Yeah. Okay, so we're on 31 now, because we don't think I had anything on those others. 31, I've already asked you about the bait shop, so I've got 15,000 transfer to park and 15,000 in a bracket, and then 5,000 in the 23 column. And then the rest will go either cash or commodities, whatever. And I actually don't think I had any other questions, because these are just non-budget funds. If you go back to 35, we're really not probably to this point yet, but this is the revenue neutral and the budget hearing combined, and that's what you would have because you're taking the same mill levy. And there's just, I gotta put Tina's name in there, and there's a few things. Do you already, you guys are always on board, do you already have the date set for the?
No,
Yeah.
we need to do that.
Yeah. Well, it didn't have to be today,
Well, I
just wondered.
figure
I
it
thought
might
maybe-
be helpful, because we want to do both our hearings on the same day.
Yeah, on the same day, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the deadline?
All right, just one moment here. I should know it
I
off
knew
the
it
top
was
of my
coming
head,
up.
but
Well,
I
that's
don't.
where-
I
that's
don't
where the
wanna
train's
answer.
going.
Yeah, we,
Okay.
We
that's
need
why we're
the deadline.
taking days away from harvest to get this done.
Okay.
The harvest today.
Did it rain, how much, did it rain last night? I understood my sidewalk as well, I didn't know.
About 210.
2/10, okay.
Yeah, it didn't rain much in Hillsborough.
But it did rain.
What you have for a total up there, Dave?
Oh, we haven't had that much altogether, maybe half altogether.
Oh, I've had
About
each
3
before.
days.
I was in Hayes yesterday.
Did you miss that storm?
Well, we got hit with the storm, but it didn't start to do anything special until it got over to Russell County.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
by then, it was time to go home, and I was like, just go see what La Crosse has got going on.
They,
Because I had my wife and daughter with me. So I
Oh,
was like,
yeah, oh, yeah.
if it was me by myself,
You just
I'd
drive
been
through?
going down I-70.
Oh,
I had a friend that bought 2 semi-loads of cattle for a guy at Sylvan Grove, which is pretty close to Russell.
Yeah.
They had to deliver them to the Russell sale barn. It's the only place they could put them. Couldn't
Really?
even get to his place. He got 5.5 inches of rain.
Oh, wow.
Well, the tornadoes all rolled through
Yeah, I
I-70
saw
last
that,
night.
yeah.
Oh, it was funny because we just went by all those places that morning.
Yeah.
And then stopped at Fort Hayes for a college tour.
Yeah.
Then you went to the fort, right?
No, I didn't go to the Fort. I was done by the end of that college tour.
That's a mentally taxing deal, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I'm not even gonna get into some of the professors' preferred courses.
And that's Fort Hayes.
Yeah, I know. I was wearing my "Only You Can Prevent Communism" shirt, and so one of the professors and I did not hit it off well.
So Tina, did you find the cut off?
Sorry, I'm
Let's
working.
move back to the topic.
Anything else that, why she said, what, I mean, just ballpark, this is not, so you have the step raises, what are you thinking, 1, 2, none, I mean, so
Cost
Tina
of
and I,
living?
yeah, cost of living, what do you just, I mean, we just kind of throw it out here, I just trying to, trying to figure out,
Kent's at 0, so then it depends on what the weather.
I hate to be this way, but I'm gonna go with Kent because we're gonna throw that premium pay out
You
there.
got premium pay,
yeah,
then you got,
The thing is, what do you do for new hires? That we're already losing, people won't come on because the pay rate's too low.
Yeah.
And we're gonna lose a bunch of people after we pay the premium pay. So we're not be able to hire people to replace them.
I got the step plan.
So the budget hearing and the R&R hearing have to be held between August 20 and September 20. But we have to mail those notices out, so we have to I have to know what your proposed rate is gonna be. So after we get through these numbers, I mean, is there any chance that something might be above the previous levy? Trying to get all this in here, so if
So-
it is, we need to know the rate and the date, time, and location of the
right,
hearing.
so if you
I
look
have
on
to have that by
page,
July 20.
you look on page 37, I don't know where Lauren got this, maybe from you, but on 37 is,
Yeah, it's from me.
is that from you? Okay. So since you are a yes, on page 37, you would be the top part. So we would have to know the proposed mill levy rate. So let's just say it, I'm just gonna write it in and out, but it's 75.017. I don't know if you wanna round off to 75 or you wanna, whatever that is, okay? Then you put the date of our hearing. So the revenue neutral rate hearing has to occur before the budget hearing.
Right, it can be
On
the
the
same day.
yeah, same day, but it's got to
Do it once.
occur in the right order. Yeah.
And it has to be between August 20 and September 20.
Right.
Okay.
You do have a commission meeting on August 22nd, 29th, 31st.
And you have to remember, you have to publish it 10 days before that. So that would be, the earliest would be August 10th that you would publish, is that right? Or that week of the 10th, what
Yeah,
day would
so
that
if
be?
we
What
had-
day would that be?
Sorry, let me go back.
31st.
So if we went on the,
Payday.
if we went on the 22nd, we'd have to have it to the paper like 2 weeks before, basically, on the Monday. So we would have to
What
have
day,
it
what
to
is
them.
date, August?
I'm sorry, what? That would be the 8th, that we'd
8th,
have to
okay.
have it to the paper.
And that's kind of in line with what we've done in the past, somewhere in that week of the 8th to 14th or somewhere.
So hearing on the 22nd.
Well, I'm just giving you potential
Yeah, sure,
times,
right,
we're
yeah.
not saying.
Right, the earliest would be the 22nd.
22nd, and the
You prefer to have it
publication.
earlier than later, I'm sure.
You know me.
The 22nd or the 31st, all right.
Or 29th.
One of those two dates, that's
So those 3 dates.
So if we, let's just say, I'm just doing, if August 8th is when we have to have it done to the paper, then that, we have to have the budget all figured out by literally that time.
Right, and you're gonna need to know the levy rate by the 20th, because I have to have this
Yeah,
report,
yeah.
this page by the
Right.
20th. So if for some reason, once he plugs these numbers, something looks like it's gonna go
Yeah.
over, or it's not doable, then we'd still need time
Yeah.
to tweak.
Okay.
Or we just make sure it doesn't go over.
Didn't go over.
Yeah.
That's written.
Yeah, because what happens there, I mean, you have cash carryover, you're hoping you have enough cash carryover that it works.
To absorb.
See, this is for all of you got here, I was just asking Tina about, for the clerks, I'm trying to figure out these counties, I'm trying to have at least 2 meetings to have a pretty good idea of where they're at. If they want to do the same mill levy, that you guys have kind of said that. Others are still kind of debating where they want to be on that. But if I can get to that, I need to know that by July 20th. And then what I was thinking is if I would have it the next meeting after the 20th, because the clerks are gonna be scrambling to try to get all this information out. So I was trying to get to where we know for sure that the 75 would work, which it should, and we have these things we answered today. So what I thought about doing, and I didn't say this earlier, is getting all these changes made, seeing where the cash carryovers are, having Tina help me with the middle column, because that really makes a difference, knowing where the middle column's at, and seeing if the 75 works, okay? And then having Lauren and I would put together a bulleted Word document by page number order, so that the next time we meet, you would already have all the questions that I still have, Tina and I have, before we meet the next time. So we're not just, come to the next meeting and you don't know what that is.
So we have it ahead of time.
Yeah,
I think-
so I try to do that on every county, where I do the bullets of all the questions I still have. And then behind it, just like we got here, you would have a new one of these that showed everything we talked about today. And so the next time we'd meet, if we know that 75 will work, because that's what we need to know on July 20th, then we would meet what's that week after July 20th? It's like, July 20th is a Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Wednesday,
So
so
like
it's the
the Monday,
25th.
so the Monday the 25th, that week I was gonna try to have if I can, I may have to have one more meeting on these other counties. You guys are a little bit ahead here.
And we have meeting on the 29th too, for payday on July 29th.
Yeah.
So we have a Monday and a Friday though.
So what I could do is, if the next time I would come, and that's what we've done in the past, I send all that out ahead of time, you look at it, I come to your regular meeting for an hour or less, and we talk about what was in that. And then if we didn't have sufficient time to decide on the 25th, that Monday, then the 29th, I could come back if we had to. But I'm trying to get all those dates.
So keep in mind,
Mhm.
that week, the 25th to the 29th,
That's right before election. Isn't it?
yes. County clerks are setting up poll sites, we
Yeah.
have early voting happening, we have a lot of stuff happening, so.
Okay, let me ask you
We
this.
can't have this room
Well,
on August.
August, so the day before the election is August 1, I would prefer, if you
Yeah.
don't need to have a meeting
That
then,
we
that
don't
you
need.
won't.
That's what have a payday meeting Friday the 29th,
So
so
we would-
why would you
Yeah.
have a meeting?
Okay.
That's what we've done.
Right.
Okay, so let's-
No meeting August 1st.
So we have, okay, let's just, and I'm just talking, I'm not saying this.
Right, I know.
Okay, so if we have from August 20th to September 20th to have the hearing, okay?
Right.
Move your meeting.
Move the meeting towards the end of August,
Or at least,
and, yeah, and then what's the, it's gonna be the 8th, the 15th, is that a Monday?
Yes.
yes, 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th.
Okay. 22nd.
15th will be our canvas here.
Okay, so is it too late to have it due on the 22nd? But you guys are in pretty good shape. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what that would mean is it was published that week, and then you have 2 more days. You're still in the month window.
We're still in the
Mark,
time
yeah.
of what's allowed under
Yeah.
the, you know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think through this morning because the clerks, I mean, I literally do feel, they're always slammed. It's like this, between election, all those rates that are due on the 20th of July, and trying to, again, get the budget figured out. So I was trying to make it favorable.
So the last day you could do the hearing would be the 19th of September for Marion County,
Right.
right? And we would have to have it to the newspaper by Friday, September 2,
Okay.
because the newspaper.
And Labor Day is September 5th?
Yeah, right,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
right.
Yeah,
So.
What's that?
Labor Day.
yeah.
So
22nd,
To
22nd is a Monday,
Of August.
yeah. And if we published on that day, that week,
Publish on the 24th then, so then you have the
24th.
29.
29,
We are meeting on the
6th, you're meeting on the 6th?
But that would put us probably at the 12th of September for a hearing, really, to be.
And we're still a week ahead of where it would have to be.
I think so. Yeah, we are.
We don't have to decide that today, but I'm just trying to get I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna pull off.
Yeah, move
Right,
it
so
past election.
Helping you to figure out how to do it in other counties. It's gonna really depend on
Mhm.
the July 20 readiness
Right.
of that board.
Well, I think what's gonna happen, there's some big numbers here I gotta change. But by getting the debt service where it's at, and then getting that cleaned up, and getting that Diamond Vista thing, cleaned up, and then just seeing where the cash carryovers are. I really don't, if you're good with 75.017 or whatever, you're gonna it's gonna work. It's just, we gotta get the middle column cleaned up. So that's what I gotta get to on each county, and I may have to have it, like I said, I may have to have another meeting in some counties, because I want to, on July 20, I wanna be able to say, so, and this would be the sheet, this is kind
It's
of.
an example.
Example of
This
how
is-
they would
I've
notify.
I've sent this out to all my entities saying,
Mhm.
with their
Yeah.
memos, saying the
Right.
timeline, and here's the memo, and.
So, let me just ask this, so in case I get this question. So like, if I meet with, like, for example, Lost Springs, the fire districts, those, or Tampa, as long as we come up with that rate here and send this back to you by the 20th,
And the hearing date, time, and location.
yes, all that, answer those questions at the top, you're gonna be happy.
Yes.
Okay.
Temporarily.
You gotta make Tina happy, I'm just, that's the thing, I mean, literally, this is gonna be like in Osage County, they wanna answer email. A lot of these special districts, a lot of them are older people.
It's tricky.
It is
I
tricky.
have to call
How we're gonna get all these, how we're gonna get this part of information back by the,
We did it last year.
yeah, but I think last year was kinda.
Last year was a little bit, this one's more intense because this is the first year. Last year we had this requirement,
Mm-hmm.
but this year we actually have to send notices
Yeah.
as well to taxpayers.
They have to turn around and
Oh,
send notices to all
So
the
this is
taxpayers.
extra, another step for the
I
clerks.
mean, I don't know what that's gonna cost. and
It's
that's
gonna cost
something-
like $7,000 to $10,000. So just so you guys know, I'm gonna have to pay that out. The state's supposed to reimburse us
Reimburse,
this
yeah.
year. Next year, I'm supposed to, by the end of the year, or maybe they're gonna try and reimburse
Yeah,
2 years.
2 years, I think the reimbursement.
But then the next year, the clerk has to actually go to figure out a bill for every district
Yes.
that is going over an R&R, and bill them out for their portion of the cost of those notices.
Yeah.
And then try to collect the money from them.
And is this the real confusing statement that
Yes.
gets, so there's
Yeah.
gonna be phone calls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avalanche of phone calls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Okay,
so
so,
I'm comfortable with
with doing that?
with the plan
So
for
the
us.
22nd would be the week we would publish.
Oh, wait,
No,
Sorry.
right?
I'm just saying your other counties, you may.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll have to work with them. I don't know.
Okay. So, do you feel like trying to do it you feel like you need the time to be able to shoot for that August 22nd date?
Here, I'm not worried about this one. You said how you want it, we'll make it work. Your budget, I feel, I mean, because you're very on top of
Put some
it.
numbers out today?
What?
Can you pick some numbers and we can see?
On dates, you
Yeah.
mean?
So it works for you?
Yeah, I mean, I can,
I just think election, I mean, you gotta be realistic here with
Right.
your family, with everything. I mean, that's just what I'm trying to do with all these clerks. And the other clerks are brand new, okay,
And-
2 of them are brand new, and that's just like, I feel sorry for them.
So the closer we get to October, we'll be doing, so the later we get in September,
Yeah.
we're gonna be working the November abstract,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
generates the tax statements.
Yeah.
We're gonna be working the general election at that
Yeah.
time too, so it's all bad.
Still wanna go.
It's all bad.
So if you moved it back to the 15th, what would the dates be on that if you moved it?
Okay.
So the
Let's see.
15th would be, you'd have your publication the week of the 15th,
Are you talking about September or August?
August.
Okay. let
I'm
me
just
go back.
trying to get you in the middle there.
So if we did the publication the week of the 15th,
Yeah,
that means we could hold our hearing, well, that's Labor Day weekend, so we could do it on September 6th,
Sixth.
which is a Tuesday,
and then you'd be done,
and we'd be done.
yeah. And
I
then you
feel
have a-
better about that for us.
Yeah, that'd be a whole month
So
and you
should-
have to do other
The
things,
hearing on September 6th.
yeah, and that's fine with me,
Tuesday-
yeah.
Tuesday, September 6th.
Yeah, mm-hmm,
Hearing. And then we can work back on the
yeah, when we gotta get published and all that.
So we meet in the afternoons now, we used to always hold our budget hearing at 8 in the morning, so
Yeah.
do you want to hold it at 12, at noon,
Noon,
or 12:30, like when you normally, first thing?
I guess that does allow people to
12:30?
come. Yeah, 12:30,
Just keep it
have the same, yeah.
Okay,
keeps it up.
So it'd be September
Nobody came last year.
6th
12.
at 12:30 PM,
Budget hearing.
okay?
So you wouldn't be able to do regular meeting public forum until after you do your budget,
Yeah.
public forum, public meeting.
We just move all that back.
Okay,
Okay.
so that means we need to publish by
That week of the 15th.
the week of the 15th.
Yep.
That'll work. This is sort of needed to keep going after August the 1st, because this will be the first time for 18 years that I don't have to worry about that second thing. Call a job.
So, you can come any day you want to, huh?
You wanna work the
Oh,
pole
you
side?
Really?
They're looking for pole side people in.
Are you getting?
I can this year because I'm not running.
Yeah.
I can this year.
Yeah, so.
I do that.
Are you gonna be off by August 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk.
August 1st. August the 1st.
Okay,
There
we'll
you
be
go, you're
talking.
available the next day.
Dang.
You can be the captain.
He can
We
be
need-
the captain supervisor.
Kathy Inlow will be the supervisor.
Oh, Kathy, that's good.
She's done it before.
Yeah.
That's not her pole side, but she goes
No,
wherever I ask. She's
yeah,
so good.
she comes-
Yeah.
Might sign me up.
All right, we need a Democrat too, so I don't know if you know any of
I
them.
haven't sat for that long in one spot all day, but.
Okay, I'll put you
Okay,
on the list, Randy.
okay, so we got those dates set. Okay, the
Sorry,
other
guys.
conversation
Oh, that's
we were,
good.
the other conversation we were having, just to get a ballpark, was the COLA conversation. So it was 2 zeros, I think I heard 2 zeros.
Always talking about
What?
that.
Yeah, for the cost of living
Oh.
adjustment. There's 2 zeros, and then Dave and Randy.
They hadn't said yet. Have you have you guys decided, we're just kind of getting a little straw poll here about the COLA, if there'd be a COLA raise
If
or
there's a
not.
number that you want to see for
Yeah, if there's a
that,
number you want to
we
see,
need to know
we
so
can
we
play
can get it ready.
with, or,
I mean, you're gonna have to do 5%. Do you have to match Social Security?
You don't have to do anything.
Don't
You
have-
you don't
can
have to
do
do
whatever.
anything.
I know, but for the general public,
Social Security's right now is about 8.3?
3 I saw, yeah.
So the step increase is about 1.5. So if you do 5, then your total is 6.5.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a hunk.
but to get people to work.
Well, the fuel prices are helping in that aspect. There's a lot of people that are realizing, oh yeah, I could go make more money somewhere else, but now I gotta put $5 a gallon gas in.
Yeah.
And it's changing the perspective a little bit.
Yeah. Randy, what are your thoughts on cost of living?
I don't have a problem with it, just figure out what we can afford.
Right.
that's,
I guess I'd be more in the 3%. 3% cost of living plus the 1.5 would be 4.5.
it always amazes me what the total bill is.
Well, then you have to add everything
Yeah.
else to it,
Yeah.
I
How
know.
about 1.5?
Add another 2%.
Yeah.
How you come up from zero, huh?
I just said, what about? I didn't-
Yeah, see.
After that fiasco yesterday, blown me away.
Sure, okay. What, Tina, you had a comment?
My only comment is that you're not deciding to do it, you're just
No.
deciding
Yeah.
what numbers you wanna look at.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, just to look at.
Yeah, just give us some sort of idea of where we're at.
Well, that's what we have to give Tina.
Well,
Right.
well, I mean, can you look at a 1 and a 3 and a 4? Something, I mean, one
We
you
should do that last time for us.
I can do whatever you say, I just
No,
wanted
no,
to get a
don't
consensus
say that,
of
within,
the-
within reason.
Yeah, I mean, I can do multiple scenarios, yes.
Say pick out 3 numbers.
Do you feel that 1, 2, 3 is high enough for numbers to sort of look, or you just pick out 1% and say, take it, it changes if you take it times 3 or something, take 1%.
Well, you could even do like 1% and 5% and then just divide. I mean, you
True.
wouldn't, that way,
Okay.
that way she wouldn't have to
Okay.
make 42 calculations.
Yeah.
Just take the high range and the low range
Right.
and just see what the,
Okay, and that's
Because-
kind of where we're, Dave
Yeah.
has the high of
yeah.
5.
And then you would know, okay, it's gonna take 2 mils or whatever that number is to do
Yeah.
5%.
Right, right.
And you would do,
Right.
because what's gonna happen is once you,
Yeah.
I mean, taking care of people is very important, and I hear
Yes.
this, you're not the only one. I literally, everywhere I've been, city or county, you know, they can't get people to come to work. Now, some of that is not just pay, some of
Right.
that is just people don't want to work.
Private industry too.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't get-
Well, there's,
So, but if we could do 1 and 5, then we can say, this is what's gonna happen, but then it's locked in. That's the one thing we always have to remember about raises, is then we have that
Yes.
we have that
Yes.
ongoing,
Yes.
so.
It increases your base wage
Yeah.
if you do
Yes.
cost of living, which, and it also increases the ranges, cause will move the ranges up on the salary
Yeah.
schedule.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so you're increasing your base wage when you
Yeah.
give the step raises too,
Yeah.
but we don't move the ranges. The ranges stay the same. But sometimes you have to move the ranges, otherwise then you have to go get a new salary study again because you got so far behind,
Yeah.
so.
Because there's a lot of things, I've learned a lot on this ARPA, because some, I don't think they think about it, but certain decisions they make on ARPA, you don't want to lock your budget in for the rest of, for eternity. You know, you want, any decisions you make, you want to be a one-time expenditure or whatever, or you have to have a plan, when that runs out, the ARPA funds run out, how are you gonna fund that, you know, in the future going forward? But COLA is one of those, and she makes a great point, the step raises, maybe don't increase that, but that COLA does. If it's 5%, it increases, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
How's
have to
ARPA
do
gonna,
that.
how's ARPA gonna affect us in budget?
Not us,
No, no, no.
some
You're
counties.
fine. Some
Okay.
are wanting to say, okay, well, if I can use the ARPA for 3 years, I'm just using it as a scenario.
Oh, I
If
see.
I
Spread it out.
use ARPA for 3 years, I can fund my raises. Well, the problem with that whole scenario is, in the 4th year, what are you gonna do? You
Yeah.
know, I think and I'm not, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a general, but that has come up, and that's things you have to think about, you know? You do not wanna put yourself in a situation where you can't fund it in the 4th year.
Yeah.
And then you have to come back and go, oh, by the way, we're gonna take that raise back, you know, I mean, that's just,
So in looking at scenarios, would it be agreeable to look at a 1 and a 5? And then we can come somewhere in between? Or, you know, 1 in.
or 0 and 5.
Well, we know what 0 is.
I
We already know what
know.
0
I don't feel like the county, when you see the 5% numbers, I really don't feel like the board is gonna be
Not
on
gonna
board
go
with
there
that.
anyway.
I
Yeah.
really don't.
Well, so you wanna use a smaller amount then?
I know.
Do
You wanna-
one-
Well, once you know
one-
1%, you can kind of.
1 and a 3.
Yeah.
oh, you just do 1%.
Just do
You
1%.
can multiply that times
Yep.
2 or
Okay.
3 or
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay, does
Yeah.
that,
Just doing 1%.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We can-
Randy, or?
I was just thinking though, we did something on 1% cost of living one time, we was trying to look at it to do something again, and it just seemed like you had to,
Oh, yeah.
you just couldn't take it and double it.
Yeah, 1% wasn't 2%. Again, if
It's actually not completely that way,
Yeah.
but for budgeting, I mean,
Ballpark.
yeah, so. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
Should
You
we
guys
do
had
1%,
it, you guys
2%?
had it figured out. And I said,
All right.
I just know that 5% number is kind of probably gonna be bigger for.
Well, why don't we step back then, 1 and 3,
1 and 2.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
That way you
Do
can see.
1 and 3, then
You can split the difference
outside
between
of
the 2.
Okay.
We can look at it.
Or a 1.738.
Yeah, there you go. 3 decimal
Don't
points
go above
confused.
75.01.
7.
Single order.
Well, the thing too, and whether that means anything, we know that the government money out here, we've gotta do something with it, and we gotta operate on it, or, I mean, not operate, but we don't wanna give it back. We wanna make it work for us. But at that time, though, there's a lot of people that's not gonna see what we're gonna do for our employees, the other working world in Marion County. I mean, we're not gonna see that.
They're gonna wonder.
Yeah.
They're gonna wonder what the world, we didn't get that.
Yeah, I don't know about each city. Have you heard about cities, whether they've given some already?
I don't know what the cities have.
The
done.
listserv yesterday that I got for this city sent it to me, because like I said, that another city sent it, but it was in 3 to 5 range, and she was wondering if their council would pay 3 to 5. I said, I don't know, we'll just have to look at the budget and see if we're able to fund it. That's what I've seen, is that 3 to 5 range is kind of what,
Wow.
yeah,
I do know that people are really struggling.
yes, they are,
It is really, I mean,
Yeah.
it's really hard right
yeah,
now.
it is.
So,
Has anybody been at the gas pumps and just listened to the public talking at the gas pumps? I mean, this weekend I was up there.
I had a guy beside me filling up a RV last week up in Wyoming, but I can't tell you what he was saying.
Well, this guy.
I can't tell you what I was.
I told him, I would like to told him, you chose it.
He pulled in this guy pulled in Peabody Pumps, he pulled in a Honda, and it took him $56, and he was nuts. I mean, he says, they took my arm and my leg.
That's just on a Honda.
On a Honda, yeah.
Fill a combine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just filled mine, filled the trucks.
Just my pickup yesterday was 150.
Yeah, that's what mine usually is. Okay,
All right.
I think we got all those things figured out, or at least we're starting in the right direction. We'll work on that. We got a little time here to get those numbers together. We're in good shape on you. I'll just tell you, last funny story, and I'll leave you alone. I was in a meeting there tonight, budget meeting in the city. And there were 15 people there. And I thought, are they here for the audit report or for the budget, or what are they here for? And they're all older, okay, none of them can hear, okay? So I'm sitting there, I get the audit report, and the guy in the back row, I've never had this happen, it's so funny. And I'm not gonna tell you where it's at, because I don't want to divulge anything. But anyway, all I get done, he goes, hey, are you an attorney? I go, no, I'm a CPA, I just gave the audit report. Oh, well, I was an attorney in Colorado, and I think we got some problems here. I mean, this is the public, he just spoke up in the middle of the meeting. And he goes, what's this bond issue thing? And I go, oh, I don't know, what I mean, and the mayor's just getting red in the face and going, I'm getting picked on right in the middle of this meeting, okay? And he goes, we shouldn't have had this bond issue, I just don't think we should have. This is amazing. He was at the city meeting and he thought he was at the school district.
Oh. But you had already given the report?
Yeah.
He sent the report.
He couldn't hear anything, and he was getting all over me about the bond issue and why it was causing taxes to go up so much. And then one person goes, "We don't have a bond issue. The school district has a bond issue." And you all saw his face.
I'm in the wrong pot.
oh, man.
I felt horrible for that guy. I just go, oh,
Crazy
goodness.
things have happened.
Yeah. But that's a good one.
Yeah.
That don't
And he's
happen.
jumping all over me because I didn't have anything to do with that. Anything else? Anything else you?
Appreciate it, Scott.
Oh no, thank you. I love coming over here, and we'll get this thing done. I've been watching the College World Series, so yeah.
It wasn't the best throw, but it was over to your primary arm.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back then.
Did we say when?
No, we didn't say. So I think what I'll do, let me see.
Check your schedule.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all 4 of them, and I'll do what I said. You and I'll work to kind of get the numbers where we think we need them to be, and then we'll say, here's the date of the meeting, whatever that is, the 25th, the 29th, whatever that is. But ahead of time, you will have a bulleted, here's the questions we still have, and then circled, marked up the sheets. And then when we come to the meeting, you'll be able to say, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, and I think we'll be able to.
Did you say July 29th?
The 25th was,
Oh, okay.
but that's right before election, so I don't know. We'll see how that, we can do it after the election, so what would that be, that's, we said the,
So that'd be like the week of the 15th, I think, of
yeah,
August.
15th is when we had to publish. So,
Okay.
yeah, so the week of the 8th is, what's that week look like for you?
That would be okay,
Yeah,
because we'll be getting ready for the canvas.
and the
but we'll-
canvas is on the 15th, is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so that should be fine.
But I'll have it, I know I can have it to you before that, and you guys, and actually, you all can talk among yourselves and just say, let's do this, let's do that. 'Cause there's not gonna be that many, not many questions probably to get answered. Does that work?
Sounds good.
Okey dokey.
All right, so for future meetings, we meet Monday, the 27th at 12:30. We'll meet for payday at 9 o'clock
Yep.
on Friday. How long?
Thursday,
Payday would be
Thursday, isn't it?
Thursday, I'm
Thursday,
sorry.
yeah,
Thursday.
the 30th.
Thursday, June 30th, that'll be a fairly short meeting, is that correct?
I believe so,
Because
yeah.
there's a 10 o'clock obligation, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and
The
then,
wind farms have the open house.
so do you want to have a July 5th meeting? It looks like there's things on there.
You have a land
Tina
bank
sent you
meeting
the-
scheduled for July 5th
Okay.
at 11:30,
A week ago.
and then a regular meeting.
Thanks a lot for that. I guess it'll be short.
Yeah, we really don't have anything for that. You could always,
Can we postpone it?
I think you could if we did notice that due to lack of agenda items, there will be no land
the
bank
5th?
meeting on the 5th.
We could, would
They
that
don't
be
have
okay?
anything.
For the
Oh,
land
okay,
bank.
I'm just looking up there, I can't see what's there.
Yeah,
It's got
so
stuff
this,
written down.
so the land bank at 11:30 that's supposed to be our
Okay.
next quarterly land bank meeting, but if you don't have any business, you guys we could put out notice that there won't be one that day.
Could we
Until
do
the next
5th?
quarter.
I mean, the 11th?
Yes,
The-
that's what Tina's saying.
Okay.
We would do the land bank meeting the 11th.
Okay.
Oh, I was
Oh,
just
no.
saying, don't do one.
Yeah, let's just put it out to the next quarter.
Oh,
Yeah.
next quarter.
I
Okay,
have-
if there's no business.
Oh,
I
maybe
have some
not.
questions on first land bank, I don't know.
No.
Could you put them off to the next quarter?
Okay.
I think maybe they can be answered ahead of this, but without, because there's a guy that has a house that's burned, but has taxes against it, that's my question.
Well, I say after 11th, because I'll be gone,
No.
so you guys can be here all day.
Well, the land bank is only at 11:30 usually. so. Okay,
So I guess I didn't get what I'm hearing is the commissioner would like to still have the land bank meeting.
I just like, can I ask questions
Well, sure,
somehow?
absolutely.
We'd have to have a meeting then.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
have the meeting, because you're coming in for a regular meeting
On the
anyway.
11th.
on the 5th.
Well, I guess this is more to rules, because this guy wants to give it to the land bank, but yet I didn't know whether he could with back taxes, that's my question.
Well, could you just
Yes,
address that
he
with,
can.
with Brad or with Tina? Ask the question. with Tina
Okay,
and
well, that's
Brad.
what I'm trying to get at, yeah, it was not say the whole group having a meeting, but,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, then let's reassess.
Depends on if he's on the tax sale or not,
That would
right?
be a
No.
staff
Yes,
advised
Yep. Staff
question.
All right, well, you all can let me know before the end of the month, whether you wanna do a land bank.
We'll be meeting Monday and we'll decide that.
Okay.
Be thinking about it.
Yeah.
You can
I'll just
answer
try to
the
get
questions,
this-
don't
try to
get
get this
addressed,
all-
then we'll have a meeting.
Yeah, okay.
All right, if nothing else, then I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, 5-0, we are adjourned. Thank you, Scott.
Good day.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.